Chapter 42:27. The divine offering land was also one of the plains of gods. It was not much different from the Xinjiang land. Although it was an indiscriminate teleportation to an unknown place, it was the same for Duan Lingtian, as it was his first time in the divine offering land and he knew nothing about it. I wonder, how far is this place from the Xia clan and the Yun clan? Duan Lingtian found a nearby city to settle down. Only then did he find out that the place he was in was also under the control of an ultimate god-level faction, and that faction was not weak. It was one of the heavyweight ultimate god-level factions in the Divine Offering Land and was on par with the Myriad Arts Academy and Monorgan Divine Sect in the Xinjiang Land. In the Divine Offering Land, this heavyweight ultimate god-level faction had more than a dozen other heavyweight ultimate god-level factions that were second only to the few heavyweight ultimate god-level factions. The Xia clan and the Yun clan were the heavyweight ultimate god-level factions in the Divine Offering Land. If it was a small place, it was natural that no one would know where they were. However, in this heavyweight ultimate god-level faction territory, Duan Lingtian still managed to find out where the Xia clan and the Yun clan were after paying some small bribes. The Xia clan was located in the extreme north of the Divine Offering Land. It was rumored that it was a paradise among the glaciers. It was like spring all year round. It was like a miracle. As for the Yun clan, it was located in the northwest of the Divine Offering Land. It was rumored that it was a barren Gobi desert. However, the Yun clan was located in an oasis rich in resources. The two heavyweight ultimate god-level factions were far away from populated areas, as if they were secluded from the world. Let's go to the Xia clan and have a look. Duan Lingtian's heart skipped a beat and immediately left the city. Although there were some people who thought that Duan Lingtian was not an ordinary person when he asked about the Xia clan and the Yun clan's whereabouts. Even if he was not from the Xia clan and the Yun clan, he should be related to them in some way. Such a person should not have a simple background and might have a lot of treasures on him. However, after following Duan Lingtian out of the city and witnessing Duan Lingtian's speed, they all gave up on the idea of robbing him. This was an expert that they could not afford to offend. I thought it was a fat sheep, but it turned out to be a fierce dragon. Some people looked in the direction of Duan Lingtian's departure and sighed. If the other party was weak, they would not be afraid even if they knew that the other party might be related to the two ultimate god forces. They would not have to worry about the two ultimate god forces finding them as long as they did not leave any traces after killing the other party. Moreover, his death might not be enough to make the other two ultimate god forces put on a show. They had even thought of how to destroy the corpse and leave no trace behind after they had succeeded. They had even thought of how to leave this area. However, they did not expect that the other party was someone they could not afford to offend. Before they left the city, someone was following them. Duan Lingtian noticed it. If it were any other time, he wouldn't mind waiting for them to come up and play with them after leaving the city. But now, he wasn't in the mood. Now, what he wanted to do the most was to visit the Xia family and the Yun family and see if he could find out anything about Kerr. Moreover, if he had the chance to kill Yun Qingyin, it would not be a bad thing. Although he could not tell how strong Yun Qingyin was back then, based on the current situation of the ultimate god forces in the various planes of gods, Yun Qingyin was at most a medium ultimate god. It was impossible for him to be a higher ultimate god. Duan Lingtian even felt that he had overestimated Yun Qingyin by saying that he was only a medium ultimate god. Yun Qingyin might not even be a medium ultimate god. If I can kill Yun Qingyin, Kerr's matter in the Divine Offering Land will come to an end. Now, I just have to find Kerr. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Swoosh. Duan Lingtian used the flying ship to travel at the speed of a higher ultimate god. As he traveled, he cultivated and digested the large amount of rewards he had accumulated. Currently, there were still many rewards he had not digested. There were no rewards for killing in the plains of gods. Only killing in the plains of gods and other places like the plains of gods could earn rewards. However, he could bring the rewards out of the plains of gods. After leaving the plains of gods and the plains of gods, the rewards would evaporate at twice the rate compared to when he was in the plains of gods and the plains of gods. However, Duan Lingtian did not mind. Now that the rewards were gone, he could just go back to the plains of gods and get more. Moreover, the rewards he had accumulated in his body were enough to last him for a period of time. Perhaps when he entered the plains of gods again, the rewards would still be there. The flying ship traveled at the speed of a higher ultimate god. It was obvious that this was not an ordinary person. On the road, ordinary bandits would not easily provoke this kind of existence. After all, this kind of person was very likely to be a steel plate. Of course, ordinary bandits would not dare to provoke this kind of person. However, this did not mean that some powerful bandits would not dare to provoke this kind of person. It was to the extent that some powerful bandit forces were specifically targeting this type of fat sheep. Lord Deputy Leader, I have an Emperor-grade flying ship with me. It's heading north at the speed of a higher ultimate god. A middle god Emperor realm bandit who was hiding in the dark looked at the divine artifact flying ship that was flying across the sky. He sent out a message at the right time. All right. The other side only responded faintly. I'll inform the leader now. This bandit force was an ultimate god-level force. The leader was a lower ultimate god, and the deputy leaders were all half-step ultimate gods. Below them, there were also many small leaders in the upper god emperor realm. The weakest among this ultimate god-level bandit force was usually in charge of cleaning up the battlefield and doing odd jobs. They were all lower ultimate gods. A bandit force like this could be considered one of the top bandit forces in the entire divine offering land. It was even to the extent that there wasn't a second bandit force that stayed in the large area around them because they didn't dare to offend them and had all retreated. Whoosh! Soon, after Duan Lingtian's flying ship had flown for a while, an ultimate god-level flying ship caught up with it at the speed of a lower ultimate god. In the flying ship, a well-built middle-aged man stood there. His eyes were sharp as he stared ahead calmly. That person is heading in this direction, right? Yes, Lord Deputy Leader. The middle ultimate god bandit who had been hiding in the dark and was now on the flying ship quickly replied respectfully, Very good. The middle-aged man nodded. According to the rules, we'll give you 1% of the loot this time. Thank you, Lord Deputy Leader. The middle ultimate god bandit expressed his gratitude as he was pleasantly surprised. At the same time, he could not help but look forward to it. He hoped that it was a fat sheep. If that was the case, even if he only got 1% of the loot, it would still be a huge profit for him. I see it. About 15 minutes later, the middle-aged man, who was also the bandit leader, saw a small black that was getting bigger and bigger. Same rules. Our flying ship will intercept him directly. I'll intercept him from the front. The rest of you, surround him from the other directions. The bandit leader then looked at the other people beside him and said, These people were the deputy leaders of this bandit force. They nodded when they heard the bandit leader's order. Ordinary people would not bother to rob this bandit force. They would only attack when they met a fat sheep. Once they attacked, they would attack in full force. Because of this, they had even killed a lone lower ultimate god. They had even killed a low-level ultimate god who had completely consolidated his cultivation base. If it was only their leader, they could only fight to a draw with that person. It was because of the help of others that they could kill the lone lower ultimate god. At the same time, in the flying ship in front, Master, there's an ultimate god flying ship behind us. Duan Lingtian, who was still cultivating, suddenly heard the voice of the seven orifices, exquisite sword soul, Huang Er. She reminded Duan Lingtian in a timely manner. Master, they are not friendly. At the same time, another voice was heard. It was also a woman's voice, but compared to Huang Er's, it was more charming and enchanting. This was the sword soul of another full soul superior divine sword in Duan Lingtian's possession. He obtained it from killing a lower ultimate god with the help of his third senior brother Yang Yuchen in the profound Zen battlefield. He usually gave it to his Maxim doppelganger to use, but it also merged with his Maxim doppelganger at the same time. Almost at the same time when the two women reminded Duan Lingtian, the flying ship behind them suddenly burst out at an amazing speed and directly caught up with them. It was the ultimate god flying ship that suddenly burst out at the speed of a medium ultimate god. In the blink of an eye, it caught up with Duan Lingtian's flying ship and blocked its way. During this process, many figures flew out from it and swept in all directions. In the flying ship directly in front, a strong figure appeared and punched out at the same time. It shook the void and a vast airwave swept out, directly overturning Duan Lingtian's flying ship. A lower ultimate god? In the flying ship, Duan Lingtian was floating in the air. The overturning of the flying ship did not affect him at all. He stared ahead with a cold gaze. So many people. Are they from a bandit faction? An ultimate god bandit faction? Duan Lingtian suddenly felt that his luck seemed to be quite good. He had just arrived at the divine offering land, and he had already encountered an ultimate god bandit faction. It should be noted that godly venerable rank bandit forces were extremely rare in the mystic gangland and other realms of gods. The divine offering land was no exception. Duan Lingtian kept the flying ship and stood in the air, exposing himself in front of more than 30 bandits. Other than a few lower god emperors and medium god emperors who were patrolling outside who did not have time to board the flying ship, the entire bandit faction had turned out in full force. Only one person? However, after Duan Lingtian appeared, many of the bandits frowned slightly. A hint of disappointment appeared on their faces in unison. Only one person meant that the harvest this time was limited. Only one person? The medium god emperor bandit who had his eyes on Duan Lingtian was the most disappointed at this time. Robbing and killing one person was already very little to begin with. Now that the harvest was reduced by 99%, it was even more insignificant to him. Chapter 42:28. Kid, remove the ownership of the storage ring, and we'll spare your life. The lower ultimate god bandit leader stepped into the air and stared at Duan Lingtian silently as he spoke in a cold tone. This was also their usual tactic. If they killed him directly, he would destroy his storage ring and they would get nothing. The best course of action was to appease the other party and force the other party to hand over the storage ring in his hand. As for what would happen after that, they would have the final say. Spare my life. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly when he heard the bandit leader's words. If I remove the storage ring seriously, are you really willing to spare my life? Of course, the bandit leader affirmed. In that case, how about you all make a heart demon blood oath? As long as you all make a heart demon blood oath, I can remove the ownership of my storage ring. When Duan Lingtian spoke again, he seemed to be serious, but there was a hint of mockery in the depths of his eyes. In the next moment, before the bandit leader could speak, a deputy leader beside him sneered. We don't have time to waste here with you. You have no right to make conditions. Another deputy leader said coldly. Now, you only have two choices. Either you die or you remove the ownership of the storage ring. At this moment, an unfriendly aura locked onto Duan Lingtian. How insincere. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. However, I don't seem to have any other choice now. Then I'll remove the ownership of the storage ring. I hope you can keep your promise. The moment Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, he vanished from where he stood. When he reappeared, he was already beside the bandit leader. As for the bandit leader, because Duan Lingtian had agreed to remove the ownership of the storage ring, and because he saw that Duan Lingtian was only an upper-level emperor god, he was not too wary of him. As a result, he did not even have time to react when Duan Lingtian made his move. The result was self-evident. With Duan Lingtian's current strength, there were few lower ultimate gods who could match him if he went all out. Even some powerful lower ultimate gods were no match for him. Although the bandit leader was strong, he was only an ordinary lower ultimate god. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. As the rainbow-colored sword light entered the bandit leader's body, countless tiny rainbow-colored sword lights whizzed out of the bandit leader's body, dazzling and resplendent. At the same time, an illusory figure rose from the ground and let out a cry of disbelief before crashing to the ground. It was the heavenly anomaly of a lower-level ultimate god's death. However, this was not the dimensional battlefield after all. The fall of a lower-level ultimate god only covered a small area. No one would be able to detect it if they were further away. Lord Chief, Lord Chief. Only when their leader fell did the group of bandits come back to their senses. Then, their expressions changed one after another. They turned around and fled at the first moment. However, even though they were fast, the seven-colored sword rays were even faster than them. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A seven-colored sword ray chased after one person. Except for the few half-step ultimate god deputy leaders, the rest were killed by Duan Lingtian's seven-colored sword ray with just a thought. Although the seven-colored sword ray was not enough to kill the half-step ultimate god deputy leaders, it was enough to block their escape route. Then, Duan Lingtian killed them one by one. They did not even fight back during the entire process. What a joke. He could even kill their leader, a lower-level ultimate god. Killing them would be child's play for him. Therefore, they only cared about escaping. Why bother? After killing all the bandits and collecting their divine weapons, Duan Lingtian shook his head and directly boarded the ultimate god spaceship left behind by the bandit leader. The storage rings had self-destructed. However, there were still many divine gems in the ultimate god spaceship. In addition, Duan Lingtian also had a large number of divine gems in his possession. Therefore, he did not save them and directly rushed on with the speed of a medium ultimate god. During the process, the divine gems were constantly burned out. When they arrived near the Xia clan, a giant ultimate god clan in the world of divine remains, Duan Lingtian had used up a large number of divine gems on the ultimate god spaceship. Next, Duan Lingtian had to pay for the divine gems to travel to the Yun clan from there. The Xia clan. Duan Lingtian stood on top of the vast glacier and looked at the oasis in the distance. His eyes were misty. This is Ku-Er's home in her past life? My parents, little Fei-Er, and the others were imprisoned here? Third uncle is inside? In a trance, Duan Lingtian thought of the sloppy middle-aged man he met in the secular realm who claimed to be Ker's third uncle in her past life. The other party was called Xiajia. Last time, his parents, his wife, Li Fei, and the others were able to escape from here. It was also Xiajia who took the opportunity to save them. For a moment, Duan Lingtian wondered if he should visit his third uncle to see if he was there. However, after thinking about it for a while, he dispelled this thought. It was meaningless. So what if he met his third uncle? In the end, he still had to go to the dimensional battlefield to look for Ker. Now, Ker shouldn't be back yet, right? When Duan Lingtian thought of this, he was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he stayed in the vicinity for about 10 days before he finally caught a lone member of the Xia clan. Who are you? The Xia clan member who was imprisoned by Duan Lingtian and had even sealed his communication with a formation was a young man. His face was pale as if doomsday had arrived. Don't be nervous. Duan Lingtian looked at the person in front of him and said calmly, I'll ask you a few questions. As long as you don't lie to me, I'll let you go immediately. Go ahead, the young man said repeatedly. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he was not going to die, it was fine. Do you know the eldest daughter of the Xia clan, Xianing Shui? Duan Lingtian looked at the young man and asked. When the young man heard Duan Lingtian's words, he did not respond immediately. Instead, he sized up Duan Lingtian and asked cautiously, Why are you asking this? Humph. Duan Lingtian snorted coldly. I'm asking this because I want to save your eldest daughter of the Xia clan. Don't tell me you don't know that she entered the dimensional battlefield and has yet to return? Duan Lingtian asked again. I know. The young man nodded. Then, as if he had thought of something, his expression changed. You kidnapped our eldest daughter and are here for ransom? Pa. The moment the young man finished speaking, Duan Lingtian gave him a slap on the head. What nonsense are you talking about? I am the husband of your eldest daughter. How could I kidnap her? Duan Lingtian did not intend to hide his identity and spoke frankly. So what if the Xia clan knew? Hunt him down? Wait until they found him? Impossible. However, as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, the young man shook his head. It is said that the eldest daughter's husband is only an ordinary person from the mundane plane. How could he be as powerful as you? You are not the eldest daughter's husband. Hearing the young man's words, Duan Lingtian smiled. I didn't expect you to know so much. How are you related to the Xia clan? Duan Lingtian asked. Hearing this, the young man said proudly, My father works for the third master of the Xia clan. He has followed the third master since he was young and was given the surname Xia by the great ancestor. The third master of the Xia clan? Duan Lingtian raised his eyebrows. Are you talking about Xiajie? Don't call the third master by his name. When the young man heard this, he frowned and reprimanded in a low voice, "I'm not as strong as you. If my father was here and heard you call the third master by his name, he would not let you off." Duan Lingtian smiled. So, he was on the same side. No wonder he knew about him. Is the third master in the clan? Duan Lingtian asked again. No. The young man shook his head. The third master has gone to the realm battlefield. He was worried when he saw the eldest daughter had not returned for a long time, so he went in to look for her. All right. Duan Lingtian nodded and patted the young man's shoulder. I'm sorry for the offense earlier. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Duan Lingtian. As soon as he finished speaking, Duan Lingtian removed the formation that enveloped the young man. Then, with 2 teleportations, he disappeared before the young man's eyes and left. Duan Lingtian? The young man was left standing on the spot. He frowned slightly. This name sounds familiar. I think I've heard Father mention it before. Let's go back and ask Father. After the young man returned to the Xia clan, he immediately looked for his father and told him that he had been imprisoned outside the clan and that he had called himself Duan Lingtian. Impossible. The young man's father, a sturdy middle-aged man, shook his head. You said that person could easily restrain you. You're an intermediate god emperor. It's impossible for someone with such strength to be the eldest daughter's husband in the mundane realm. That's not right. Then why does he have the same name as the eldest daughter's husband in the mundane realm? The middle-aged man muttered to himself. As he spoke, he was confused. What? The young man was shocked. The eldest daughter's husband in the mundane realm is called Duan Lingtian? No wonder I thought it sounded familiar. Father, that's not right. A few hundred years ago, didn't you say that the eldest daughter's husband in the mundane realm did not even have a divine body? How long has it been since then, and he already has such terrifying strength? The young man found it hard to believe. I also think it's impossible. It's a pity that the third master is not here. He's someone who has seen the eldest daughter's husband in the mundane realm. He knows what he looks like. The middle-aged man shook his head. After leaving the Xia clan, which was located in the center of the glacier, Duan Lingtian headed west. His destination was the Yun clan. The Yun clan. If I have the chance to kill Yun Qingyin, I'll be able to solve many problems. Once I kill him and find Kerr, everything will be over. Duan Lingtian muttered to himself in the godly supreme grade spaceship. The speed of the divine weapon grade spaceship was very fast. The divine crystals that Duan Lingtian had stored in the spaceship had all been used up when they were heading to the Xia clan. They were still traveling at the speed of an intermediate god. Duan Lingtian did not feel any heartache at all. After all, he had the laws to help him with his cultivation, so he did not need divine crystals. Chapter 42-29. If it was said that Duan Lingtian's mood was perturbed and slightly excited when he arrived outside the Xia clan's door, then he was extremely excited. However, outside the Yun clan's entrance, Duan Lingtian's mood was only gloomy. In fact, it even carried a monstrous rage. Yun Qingyin, Duan Lingtian's eyes were burning with anger as he stared at an oasis in the Gobi Desert in the distance. Faintly discernible groups of sect leaders could be seen there. It was the Yun clan, one of the most powerful ultimate god clans in the divine offering land. Let's see if I can find a chance to kill Yun Qingyin. Before arriving at the Yun residence, Duan Lingtian had been to a bustling city at the edge of the desert. It was one of the Yun clan's subordinate cities. While he was there, he had inquired about Yun Qingyin. It was not difficult to find out that Yun Qingyin's cultivation level was at the lower ultimate god realm. It was said that he was about to enter the medium ultimate god realm. This rumor had been circulating for a long time. It was very likely that he had already entered the medium ultimate god realm. As for the law that Yun Qingyin was good at, it was not said that he had reached the level of 100,000 miles dim light in the dimensional battlefield. Moreover, the possibility of that was very low. It's not difficult to kill him if I fight him one-on-one. After learning about Yun Qingyin's strength, Duan Lingtian could not help but feel restless. If there was one person he wanted to kill the most in the world, it would be the young master of the Yun clan, one of the most powerful ultimate god clans, Yun Qingyin. I need to think of a way to sneak into the Yun clan. Duan Lingtian stared at the Yun clan from afar before returning to the bustling city he had been to earlier. He wanted to see if he could find a chance to sneak into the Yun clan and lure Yin Qingyan out. Of course, it would be even better if he did not have to risk his life. After that, Duan Lingtian stayed in the city for more than 10 days before he finally found an opportunity that did not require him to put himself in danger. 2 months later, the ordinary ultimate god clans under the Yun clan would send people to pay tribute to the Yun clan. Duan Lingtian planned to do something to the Yun clan's people. Next, I need to find a suitable target. Duan Lingtian was not a rash person. After a few hundred years of wandering, he had become more mature and calm. He patiently searched for a target among the people from the godly venerable rank forces who would be paying tribute to the Yun clan in 2 months' time. In the end, they locked onto one person, a high god emperor. He was also the leader of one of the godly venerable rank forces who was going to pay tribute to the Yun family in 2 months' time. That person was a half-step ultimate god. He's the one. After Duan Lingtian locked onto his target, he began to plan. The Hongyu Sacred Clan was an ultimate god-level faction with one ultimate god expert in the current generation. It was subordinate to the giant ultimate god-level clan, the Yun clan. Furthermore, the younger sister of the only ultimate god expert in the Hongyu Sacred Sect was married to the second master of the Yun family. She was the official wife and had quite a high status in the Yun family. Because of this relationship, even some forces stronger than the Hongyu Sacred Clan did not dare to underestimate them. Yu Chengshu was the second elder of the Hongyu Sacred Clan. He was also one of the 3 strongest people in the Hongyu Sacred Clan after the lower-level ultimate god. He was usually in charge of the external affairs of the Hongyu Sacred Clan. Since many years ago, every time the Hongyu Sacred Clan went to pay tribute to the Yun clan, Yu Chengshu would be the one leading the team. Yu Chengshu was a middle-aged man who usually dressed like a scholar. However, those who knew him well knew that he was not very knowledgeable. He just liked to dress like a scholar. That was because he wanted to be a scholar the most. Even his name was later changed to Yu Chengshu because he felt that it made him look more scholarly. He was, in fact, a bloody butcher. He became famous through killing. Later, he joined the Hongyu Sacred Clan and became the second elder of the Hongyu Sacred Clan. He was also the head of the enforcement elders and was in charge of the enforcement hall. When I was outside, I saw a woman being held hostage. I thought that woman looked familiar. Look, have you seen her before? That day, Yu Chengshu walked past the door of a hall in the Hongyu Sacred Clan and saw a few people gathered in groups of 3 to 5. One of them raised his hand and copied the appearance of a woman in the void. After all, he was a divine emperor and had a deep memory. His divine power filled the void, and the woman's appearance was vividly portrayed. Originally, Yu Chengshu just took a casual glance. However, when he saw the woman's appearance in the void, his expression changed drastically. It was impossible for him not to know this woman. Wasn't this the daughter of the Xia clan, who was also a supreme-level ultimate god clan like the Yun clan, Xianingshua? Back then, this daughter of the Xia clan chose to die and reincarnate in order to break the engagement with the Yun clan's young master, Yun Qingyan. That was a path that had a slim chance of survival. Originally, he thought that she would definitely die. Unexpectedly, many years later, he heard that she had successfully reincarnated and survived. Moreover, she was brought back to the divine offering land by the Yun clan's young master, Yun Qingyan. However, it was said that she entered the dimensional battlefield not long after and her fate was unknown. Now, someone had seen her? Moreover, it was a disciple of the Hongyu Sacred Clan? Moreover, he had seen her being held hostage? What happened? Yu Chengshu frowned. However, he quickly went forward and dispersed the other disciples of the Hongyu Sacred Clan, leaving only the disciple who said he had seen the Xia clan's eldest daughter, Xianingshua. You said you saw her being held hostage? What kind of person was it? Yu Chengshu asked. It was a blue-robed middle-aged man. I don't know if that's his true appearance. The disciple of the Hongyu Sacred Clan said. Where did you see them? Yu Chengshu asked for directions and confirmed the direction that they had left in. Without any hesitation, he left the Hongyu Sacred Clan and headed in that direction. After searching for a few days, Yu Chengshu finally found the person that the disciple of the Hongyu Sacred Clan mentioned. A blue-robed middle-aged man was with a woman. Even though they were far apart, he could still recognize the white-robed woman in the canyon. She was the eldest daughter of the Xia clan, Xianing Xue, whom he had met many years ago. However, although he had seen her, he did not dare to use his divine consciousness to probe. He was afraid that he would be exposed and alert the enemy. I wonder how strong this person is. Just as he was feeling doubtful, he suddenly saw Xianing Xue attack violently. After that attack, she fled out of the canyon. The eldest daughter of the Xia clan has recovered her cultivation level as a high-level god emperor. Just as Yu Qingshu was feeling surprised, he saw the blue-robed middle-aged man move again. He was also a high-level god emperor, but he was obviously stronger than Xianing Xue. With just a few moves, he suppressed and restrained Xianing Xue. Miss Ning Xue, you'd better not play any tricks. I didn't kill you because you still have some value. I know that you are very important to Yun Qingyan, the eldest son of the Yun clan. I can use you to exchange for some good things. I believe that he won't be stingy. The blue-robed middle-aged man sneered. You think too much. Xianing Xue said coldly, I have nothing to do with him. Don't expect him to give you anything for me. Her voice is right too. In the distance, Yu Qingshu was shocked. He had seen the eldest daughter of the Xia clan in the past and remembered her voice. At that moment, he was completely sure of her identity. The appearance, the name, and the voice were right. It could not be a second person. Based on their conversation, it seems that the eldest daughter of the Xia clan is being held hostage. Moreover, the person holding her hostage wants to use her to exchange for something good with young Master Qingyan. This is crazy. A guy who hasn't even reached the ultimate god realm. Does he want to die? Yu Qingshu really thought that the person was crazy. Otherwise, why would he do such a crazy thing? It's a pity that I don't have the confidence to deal with him. I'd better go to the Yun clan and report this to young Master Qingyan. If young Master Qingyan saves the eldest daughter of the Xia clan, it'll be like a hero saving a damsel in distress. Who knows, she might change her mind and be willing to be with young Master Qingyan. When that happens, I'll indirectly become their matchmaker. Yu Qingshu's eyes lit up when he thought of this. If he succeeded, young Master Qingyan would definitely treat him well. After Yu Qingshu left, the blue-robed middle-aged man who had a fierce look on his face regained his composure. At the same time, he muttered to himself, I hope Yun Qingyan doesn't have any powerful followers by his side when he comes. Even if there's a medium-level ultimate god, I hope it's not a particularly powerful one. If it's an ordinary medium-level ultimate god, I might be able to succeed. The blue-robed middle-aged man was Duan Lingtian. Currently, he was carrying out his plan that he had recently come up with. The plan had already started, and the second elder of the Hongyu sacred sect, Yu Qingshu, had been captured. He believed that Yu Qingshu would go straight to the Yun clan after leaving. Yun Qingyan is most likely in the Yun clan. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Of course, Duan Lingtian only had one of his law avatars here. Of course, it was his strongest law avatar, the space law avatar. As for Xianing Xue, who was also Ke, she was a manifestation of his other nomological avatar. He had spent a lot of time with Ke in the past. Even when Ke regained her memories and her appearance and voice had changed, he knew her very well. In fact, he was very familiar with her voice. It was precisely because of this that his other law avatar was able to imitate Ke to perfection, and it was difficult to find any flaws. On the other side, after Yu Qingshu left the canyon, he went straight to the desert next door and headed to the Yun clan. He did not even send the news back to the Hongyu sacred sect. This was because he wanted to take all the credit for himself. Soon after, Yu Qingshu arrived at the Yun clan. He told the Yun clan's first young master Yun Qingyan that he had something urgent to discuss with him. After revealing his identity, Yu Qingshu quickly saw Yun Qingyan. The second elder of the Hongyu sacred sect? Why are you looking for me? Yun Qingyan's appearance had not changed at all compared to the past. He was still as arrogant as before. He stared at Yu Qingshu in front of him and spoke indifferently. Chapter 42:30. Young Master Qingyan. In front of Yun Qingyan, Yu Qingshu, who held a high position in the Hongyu sacred sect, appeared extremely humble. I'm in a hurry to see you because I have something urgent to tell you. When Yu Chengshu noticed the impatience in Yun Qingyan's eyes, he did not dare to keep him in suspense. He hurriedly said, "It has something to do with Xianing Xue, the daughter of the Xia family. She is your cousin." Upon hearing Yu Chengshu's words, the impatient Yun Qingyan narrowed his eyes. He stared at Yu Chengshu as he took a step forward. An invisible pressure emanated from him, causing Yu Chengshu to feel a little suffocated. He instinctively took a step back. "Speak." Yun Qingyan spoke as though he was a man of few words. However, he was obviously not in the right state of mind. His eyes were glowing with a sharp light. "Young Master Qingyan." Sensing Yun Qingyan's anxiety, Yu Chengshu did not dare to delay. He quickly told Yun Qingyan about Xianing Xue's abduction. "Young Master Qingyan, you'd better hurry. Otherwise, I'm worried that the person might change his location. At that time, it'll be difficult for you to find him." Yun Qingyan, who was still a little anxious, calmed down when he heard Yu Chengshu's words. "Do you mean an upper-rank great god kidnapped my cousin and wanted to make a deal with me in exchange for benefits?" "Young Master Qingyan." Yu Chengshu could hear the sarcasm in Yun Qingyan's tone. "In fact, I find it unbelievable as well. A mere upper-rank great god, or even a half-step ultimate god would not have the guts to make a deal with you. The problem is, such a person has indeed appeared. Furthermore, I recognize Miss Ning Xue. I've met her once before, and I've even heard her voice. Furthermore, after the other party revealed the purpose of kidnapping her, she directly said that it had nothing to do with you, young Master Qingyan. If it weren't for the fact that I was worried about alerting the enemy by recording everything in the floating image pearl, I would have recorded everything in the floating image pearl for you to see." Upon hearing Yu Chengshu's words, Yun Qingyan, who had calmed down, began to waver. Yun Qingyan stared at Yu Chengshu for a while before he said coldly, "You should know that lying to me won't end well for you." Hearing this, Yu Chengshu was so frightened that his face turned pale. He then said bitterly, "Young Master Qingyan, I'm just an insignificant person in front of you. I know my place and naturally wouldn't dare to deceive you." What a joke. Although he was the second elder of Hongyu's sacred sect, if the person in front of him wanted him dead, the ultimate god expert of Hongyu's sacred sect would not let him go even without the Yun clan's help. In the eyes of the godly venerable level expert of Hongyu's sacred clan and even the entire Hongyu sacred clan, he was nothing compared to the person in front of him. He could be abandoned at any time. "Humph." Yun Qingyan snorted coldly. He knew the person in front of him would not dare to deceive him. Yun Qingyan only said that to show off his authority. Yun Qingyan fell silent after he snorted coldly. Yu Chengshu, on the other hand, waited silently by the side. At the same time, it was not difficult to guess that young Master Qingyan was most likely calling for someone to accompany him on his journey. As expected, after a dozen breaths of time, an old man and a middle-aged man appeared in front of Yu Chengshu. "Young Master." When the two of them appeared, they bowed respectfully at Yun Qingyan. From the beginning until the end, they did not even look at Yu Chengshu. It was as though they treated Yu Chengshu as invisible. When Yu Chengshu saw the two of them, he couldn't help but inhale a breath of cold air. He knew both of them. In other words, he knew them, but they did not know him. Both of them were mid-level ultimate gods from the Yun clan. They were not the kind who had just stepped into the mid-level ultimate god realm. Both of them were mid-level ultimate gods who had consolidated their cultivation base. It was said that one of them had mastered the power of law to the point where he could create a 100,000-mile light vision on the dimensional battlefield. One more step, and he would be able to create a 100,000-mile light vision on the dimensional battlefield. This young Master Qingyan is really careful, Yu Chengshu thought to himself. Of course, he knew young Master Qingyan had his reasons for being cautious. After all, he was the future successor of the Yun clan. Unless he was absolutely sure that nothing would happen to him, he would be very careful. Even so, Yu Chengshu still felt that young Master Qingyan was being overly cautious. There was only one half-step ultimate god over there. Young Master Qingyan could easily deal with him, so there was no need for him to bring anyone with him. It seems like young Master Qingyan doesn't trust me enough. Yu Chengshu smiled bitterly at that thought. Does young Master Qingyan think I'll trick him into going out and kill him? Do I have the guts to do that? Do I have a death wish? Everyone knew that the current patriarch of the Yun clan loved his son the most and had long appointed him as the next successor of the Yun clan. He had even gained the approval of several high-level ultimate gods in the Yun clan. Forget it. It's not bad for him to be cautious. At least, I'm not afraid even if there's someone else behind that half-step ultimate god. He would have been worried if he and the young master of the Yun clan were to go there alone. Now, he was completely relieved. What was there to worry about with two of the Yun clan's most powerful mid-level ultimate gods accompanying him? Lead the way. Yun Qingyin looked at Yu Changshu and said calmly, "Yes, young Master Qingyin." Upon hearing this, Yu Changshu did not dare to dawdle and immediately led the way. Soon, they arrived at the canyon that they had secretly explored earlier. Who would have thought that an ultimate god divine artifact spaceship would soar into the sky as soon as they got close to the canyon? At the same time, two figures teleported to the side of the divine artifact spaceship and entered it. Cousin. The sharp-eyed Yun Qingyin immediately recognized one of the two people. It was his cousin who had been in the interdimensional battlefield for many years. He did not expect to see his cousin here. This was the first time he had seen his cousin ever since he had brought her back from the lower secondary plane and sent her back to the Xia family. He was more familiar with his cousin than Yu Changshu. With a single glance, he recognized the other party. There was no difference in terms of appearance, body shape, expression, or even the slightest movement. Whoosh! In the next moment, the old man behind Yun Qingyin took out a divine artifact spaceship as well. The divine artifact spaceship in front of them had already left at an unbelievable speed. An ultimate god spaceship was traveling at the speed of a high-level ultimate god. It was too fast. The two mid-level ultimate gods that Yun Qingyin brought were confident that they could not catch up with the divine artifact spaceship. However, they had an ultimate god spaceship as well. Young master, enter the spaceship. Yun Qingyin and the other middle-aged man entered the spaceship at the old man's beckoning. The old man followed suit and activated the spaceship. As for Yu Changshu, he was left behind. I hope young Master Qingyin can successfully rescue Miss Ning Shui. At that time, I'm sure young Master Qingyin will treat me well. Yu Changshu stood where he was and muttered to himself. Whoosh! The divine artifact spaceship that Yun Qingyin boarded was also an ultimate god spaceship. It was traveling at the speed of a high-level ultimate god as well. However, since they were traveling at the same speed, they maintained the same distance from the divine artifact spaceship in front of them. Naturally, they could still see the silhouette of the divine artifact spaceship in front of them. Elder Qin, can't we catch up? Yun Qingyin asked in a low voice as he stared at the divine artifact spaceship in front of them. First, young master, we can only deplete their divine crystals and wait for them to slow down. The divine crystals they have are probably not as good as the divine crystals we have. Yun Qingyin nodded. Swoosh. As soon as the old man finished speaking, Yun Qingyin raised his hand and poured all the divine crystals in his spatial ring into the divine artifact spaceship. Then, he stared at the divine artifact spaceship in front of them coldly. This time, I won't let my cousin leave my side. He had sent his cousin, Xianing Shui, back to the Xia clan because he wanted to use the people he had brought back as a threat to force his cousin to marry him. However, he did not expect the Xia clan to be so unreliable and allow his cousin to leave the Xia clan and enter the realm battlefield. Later on, he found out that the group of people whom he had captured to threaten his cousin had been released by the third master of the Xia family, Xia Jie. At that time, he had wanted to kill and destroy the Xia clan. Now, he saw his cousin here. Although she was being held hostage, he still felt that this was a blessing from the heavens, sending his cousin to his side again. Cousin, no matter what, I won't let you leave my side this time. If you dare to leave, I'll wait until the realm battlefield closes and the passage between the realms of gods and the Devata realms reopens. At that time, I'll bring the Yun clan's godly revered elders there and kill everyone related to Duan Lingtian. None of them will be spared. Yun Qingyan's eyes flashed with incomparable madness. The two godly venerable grade divine artifact spaceships chased after each other. He's changing directions. The middle-aged man who had been silent all this while suddenly spoke. The divine artifact spaceship in front of them suddenly changed directions and flew to the right. After him, the old man hesitated, feeling that something was not right. However, Yun Qingyan's cold shout dispelled his doubts. He turned around and chased after Yun Qingyan. The two godly, venerable, grade divine artifact spaceships chased after each other at the speed of a high-level godly venerable. During this process, a large amount of divine crystals were consumed as if they didn't cost money. The two divine artifact spaceships were flying at a high speed. Chapter 42:31. An ultimate god spaceship would consume a lot of divine crystals to fly at the speed of a high-level ultimate god. Not many people from the Overlord ultimate god forces would be so extravagant. Yun Qingyan wanted to catch up with the person in front of him. Otherwise, he would not be able to afford such extravagance even if he had two mid-level ultimate gods from Overlord clans with him. The old man had to use up his own divine crystals first. Originally, he was still thinking that the other party would slow down before he ran out of divine crystals. He did not expect his opponent's spaceship to show no signs of slowing down even when he was running out of divine crystals. It was obvious that his opponent had as many divine crystals as he did. The old man had no choice but to use the divine crystals that Yun Qingyan had taken out earlier. The divine gems became the power source of the ultimate god divine artifact spaceship as if they were free. The ultimate god divine artifact spaceship flew at the speed of a high-level ultimate god and caught up with the spaceship in front of it. Yun Qingyan was still staring at the spaceship in front of him and did not look at the divine crystals that were being consumed. It was only when the divine crystals he had taken out were about to run out that his expression darkened. That guy has quite a lot of divine crystals. He did not think much of it as he did not usually carry many divine crystals with him. It was fine as long as he had enough to use. Occasionally, he would ask his father for more when he needed to spend more. His father was the current patriarch of the Yun clan and had access to the vast amount of divine crystals in the Yun clan. Just a few of them would be enough for him to squander. Young master, I don't have many divine crystals either. Yun Qingyan saw that his divine crystals were almost used up and looked at the middle-aged man who was not far away. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly. Take them all out. I'll return them to you when we get back. Yun Qingyan said. When the middle-aged man heard this, he did not hesitate and took out all the divine gems in his storage ring without holding anything back. Since the young master had said he would return them to him, he had nothing to worry about. Soon, Yun Qingyan's divine crystals were used up, and he began to use up the middle-aged man's divine crystals. Apart from Yun Qingyan, the middle-aged man and the old man had worried expressions on their faces. Could it be that the three of them combined could not compare to the divine crystals in the young man's hands? The young man had too many divine crystals. Was he really a half-step ultimate god? In the spaceship in front, Duan Lingtian was controlling an ultimate god-grade spaceship. Divine crystals were piled up like mountains. These divine crystals were mainly obtained from the dimensional battlefield in the profound Handle Land. Many of the god emperors and ultimate gods at the pilgrimage grounds were tricked by Duan Lingtian and Yang Yuchen before they died. They were forced to hand over their storage rings, but they still couldn't escape death in the end. During this process, Yang Yuchen did not ask for any divine crystals. He gave all of them to Duan Lingtian. In addition, Duan Lingtian had also obtained a lot of divine crystals in the divine trial grounds. Because there was no self-destructing storage ring, anyone he killed would receive divine crystals as his spoils of war. Originally, he thought that he might not be able to bring the divine crystals out of the trial grounds. He didn't expect that he would bring all of them out. Under such circumstances, the amount of divine crystals he had accumulated had also reached an extremely large amount. They really have a lot of divine crystals. Duan Lingtian sighed. When they run out of divine crystals, it'll be time for me to slow down, Duan Lingtian muttered to himself. After about 15 minutes, Duan Lingtian's eyes suddenly narrowed. After flying for some distance, he began to slow down and moved forward at the speed of a medium ultimate god. Behind him, Yun Qingyan, who was a little annoyed by the depletion of his divine crystals, suddenly brightened when he saw the scene in front of him. He's slowing down. He should be running out of divine crystals soon. Go after him. Put away this spaceship and chase after him. Yun Qingyan shouted loudly. In the next moment, The old man put away the spaceship and flew forward with the middle-aged man carrying Yunqing Yin. However, since they were carrying another person, their speed was always the same as the spaceship in front of them. This was because the two medium ultimate gods beside Yunqing Yin were not proficient in the law of wind. Neither of them were medium ultimate gods who were proficient in speed. Just leave one of you to carry me. The other one will chase after him, Yunqing Yin hurriedly said when he saw the problem. In the end, the old man who was stronger chased after the spaceship and got closer to it. As for the middle-aged man, he carried Yunqing Yin and chased after them at a speed slower than the spaceship. In the blink of an eye, the distance between the old man and Yunqing Yin had widened. The distance between them was still increasing. We're about to catch up. Yunqing Yin's eyes lit up when he saw the old man who was getting closer to the spaceship and further away from him. Elder Chun, be careful not to let him hurt my cousin. Yunqing Yin reminded the old man. I know, eldest young master, the old man replied. At the same time, he felt a little anxious. This was because he suddenly realized that the distance between him and the spaceship in front of him wasn't getting any closer every time. Had his speed unknowingly slowed down? That was impossible. There should be no difference. What was going on? The old man's eyes narrowed and his expression changed drastically as though he had thought of something. At the same time, he sent a message to Yunqing Yin. Be careful, eldest young master. As soon as the old man's message reached Yunqing Yin's ears lit up. Swoosh. A gust of wind blew before a purple figure appeared in front of Yunqing Yin and the middle-aged man, blocking their path. It was a handsome young man with dashing eyebrows. At this moment, a spatial storm swept out from his body. A terrifying seven-colored sword ray transformed into a huge sword that shot toward the duo. Boom. Rumble. Since Yunqing Yin and the middle-aged man were caught off guard and focused on what was in front of them, they could not react in time. Both of them were severely injured. The middle-aged man spat out a mouthful of blood. On the other hand, Yunqing Yin's face was contorted from the pressure. His eyes were wide open and filled with shock and disbelief. How's this possible? At this moment, this was the only thought in his mind. He knew the purple-clad young man who had ambushed them. Moreover, he had a deep impression of him. The purple-clad young man was none other than the native from the mundane realm who was as insignificant as an ant in front of him. He could kill him with a flick of his finger. If his cousin had not threatened him with her life, he would have killed the purple-clad young man. Yet today, this person had actually appeared before him once again. Moreover, he had done so in such a domineering manner. His strength was so great that even he was indescribably shocked. Whoosh! While Yunqing Yin was still in shock, a rainbow-colored sword ray flashed through the air, and a drop of liquid appeared in the middle-aged man's hand. The rainbow-colored sword ray pierced into the middle-aged man's body, killing him. The drop of liquid that was supposed to fall into the middle-aged man's hand missed its mark. I hope it's useful to me, Duan Lingtian sighed in his heart. At the same time, he moved his hand and grabbed the drop of liquid. It was the supreme expert's divine power that the middle-aged man beside Yunqing Yin had taken out. When the liquid entered his body, Duan Lingtian could feel the divine power in his body suddenly burning and boiling. It raged and caused him to feel pain all over his body. The pain only subsided when his 99 heavenly veins began to circulate crazily. However, he still felt bloated as if there was some kind of energy crashing in his body that was going to explode. Is this the supreme expert's divine power? Is this the power that only those above the ultimate god level can use? At this moment, Duan Lingtian felt extremely powerful. It was as if he could crush a towering mountain or destroy the sun, moon, and stars with a snap of his fingers. This was a terrifying power that did not belong to him, but he could control it as if it was his own arm. Boom! At the same time, Yunqing Yin, who was nearby, also released a violent energy. He had also used the supreme expert's divine power when the middle-aged man was killed. An ultimate god's divine power rose, causing the divine power in his body to instantly transform. He was originally only a lower-level ultimate god, but at that moment, the lower-level ultimate god divine power in his body transformed to that of a medium ultimate god. Elder Chin, Come and help me. Although the Supreme Expert's divine power had temporarily increased his cultivation base to that of a medium ultimate god, Yun Qingyin did not feel safe at all. After all, a medium ultimate god had just died in front of him. Although he had been severely injured by his opponent's sneak attack, he might not be in as much of a better state as his opponent after the sneak attack. Therefore, the first thing he did after the Supreme Expert's divine power was not to fight the purple-clad young man, but to escape in the direction the old man was coming from. Whoosh! At this moment, the old man had also used a drop of the Supreme Expert's divine power. His divine power skyrocketed to the upper-level ultimate god level as he rushed to Yun Qingyan's rescue at an incredible speed. Yun Qingyan, you must die today. Duan Lingtian's eyes were cold as the seven-colored sword ray whizzed out and caught up with Yun Qingyan in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Duan Lingtian had already thought of a way to escape. After killing Yun Qingyan, he would teleport away a second time. After that, he would let his law clone restrain the old man. As long as he could delay him for a second time, it would not be difficult for him to escape under the old man's nose. He would be able to delay the old man until the Supreme Expert's divine power faded away. At that time, the ultimate god-grade flying ship would be able to escape at the speed of a medium ultimate god. The old man would not be able to catch up with him. He did not think the old man would be willing to use a second drop of the Supreme Expert's divine power after Yun Qingyan's death. In fact, he suspected the old man might not even have a second drop of the Supreme Expert's divine power. The Supreme Expert's divine power was extremely rare and precious. Not everyone had the ability to obtain it. You want to kill me? Dream on. A hint of determination could be seen on Yun Qingyan's face when he saw Duan Lingtian. A bloody hole appeared between his eyebrows as blood that shone faintly with golden light gushed out of it. Father, save me! Yun Qingyan screamed. Chapter 42-32. Swoosh. Duan Lingtian's expression changed drastically. At this moment, golden blood gushed out of the hole between Yun Qingyan's eyebrows, giving him a suffocating feeling. His scalp went numb. Master, teleport away. Huang Er's panicked voice entered his ears at the right time to remind him. In fact, as soon as Yun Qingyan finished speaking, Duan Lingtian had already teleported away as soon as he sensed the abnormality of the blood. He left behind an illusory seven-colored sword ray as he continued to charge toward Yun Qingyan. Bang! There was a loud noise. It was the wisp of golden blood that instantly turned into a tall, middle-aged man. The moment the middle-aged man appeared, a beam of light shot out from his finger and annihilated the seven-colored sword light. The void vibrated as rays of light whistled through the air as though they were a foil to the middle-aged man's strength. Trying to escape? The middle-aged man raised an eyebrow as his illusory figure gradually solidified. He then nodded his head, and a terrifying beam of light seemed to have crossed the void and shot into the distance. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian, who had teleported a second time, was horrified. At this moment, he could clearly smell the scent of death. Walao, Sister Shui, I need your help. The terrifying power behind him made Duan Lingtian tremble. He did not even need to compare himself to know that he would not be able to block that attack. That was the power of a high-level ultimate god. Moreover, it was definitely not an ordinary high-level ultimate god. It was impossible for an ordinary high-level ultimate god to be so powerful. Is that Yun Qingyan's father, the current patriarch of the Yun clan? The Yun clan was one of the most powerful overlord ultimate god clans in the Divine Offering Land. The person who was in charge of the Yun clan was definitely one of the most powerful people in the Divine Offering Land. There was no doubt about that. Moreover, Duan Lingtian had heard that the leaders of the various Overlord Ultimate God clans in the Divine Plains were all taken special care of by the Overlord Ultimate God clans. His strength was far beyond that of an ordinary upper-level Ultimate God. Duan Lingtian's miniature world opened, and a sigh sounded. It was the primal chaos Divine Flame's voice. Other than the world-cleansing Divine Water, the other 5 divine elements also sighed softly. After that, the 5 extremely powerful energies passed through the little world in Duan Lingtian's body and merged with his own attack before it collided with the attack that was rapidly approaching him from behind. Bang! A loud sound rang out, as if the heavens and earth were falling apart. The surrounding void shook, and tiny spatial cracks appeared and then quickly closed. A large area of clouds and mist in the surrounding area was instantly dispersed, and a large vacuum area appeared. At this moment, the mountain peaks below were all broken in half. Countless pieces of rubble fluttered in the air as one weak life form after another escaped from the forest in the mountain range below with injuries. Wails filled the air as if they had experienced the baptism of doomsday. 5 divine elements? 5 types of divine elements? Moreover, their forms are not low. The solidified shadow in the air where Yun Qing Yin was standing spoke for the first time. There was a hint of surprise in his voice as he said, "However, this is all you can do?" In the next moment, the solidified shadow dissipated. Then, a tall figure appeared in front of Yun Qing Yin as though he had traveled through space. In the blink of an eye, he looked exactly the same as the dissipated shadow. Patriarch. The old man who had used the Supreme Expert's divine energy to temporarily raise his cultivation base to the upper-level ultimate god realm had arrived beside Yun Qing Yin. He bowed respectfully when he saw the middle-aged man who had just appeared. The middle-aged man was the current patriarch of the Yun clan, the strongest expert in the clan. The divine tree of life? In the next moment, the middle-aged man who was about to give chase stopped in his tracks with a frown on his face. Sword principle. The Tao of control. 5 divine elements gathered in one body. The divine tree of life in one's body. A complete divine tree of life. The middle-aged man's originally calm expression couldn't help but change slightly at this moment. It was impossible for him to catch up. The life energy from the divine tree of life shook the void and resonated with the life energy from the divine tree of life in the divine offering land. It disrupted the spiritual energy and made it impossible for him to locate the fleeing man. Otherwise, he could have caught up with him and killed him. "Father, we must kill him." Yun Qing Yan's handsome and elegant face was slightly distorted at this moment. "We can't catch up with him." The middle-aged man shook his head. "He ran away. He has many tricks up his sleeve. Even if I catch up with him, I won't be able to find him. Let's go back." The middle-aged man lowered his head to look at his son. He saw that his son was in a daze and seemed to be thinking about something. With a wave of his hand, the middle-aged man brought his son and the old man who had used the Supreme Expert's divine energy back to the Yun clan. On the way back, the middle-aged man said, "Yun Chun, you used a drop of the Supreme Expert's divine energy for my son. When we return, I'll return you 2 drops of the Supreme Expert's divine energy." "Thank you, Patriarch." The old man thanked the middle-aged man respectfully. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. His gloomy mood from the death of his comrade was gone at this moment. After all, the Supreme Expert was only a friend to him at most. He was just an ordinary friend with a slightly better relationship. Too powerful. I was almost done for. Duan Lingtian boarded the ultimate god-flying ship and met up with his space law clone. After escaping with the speed of an advanced ultimate god, he heaved a long sigh of relief. Fear still lingered on his face. If it were not for the 5 divine elements and the world-cleansing divine water that had mobilized the divine tree of life's energy to cover his tracks at the critical moment, he would have been dead by now. The patriarch of the Yun clan had first sent a bloodline illusion and then his true self. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. I was too careless. I should have known. Yun Qing Yin is the young master of a giant ultimate god clan and is regarded as the successor. It won't be easy to kill him. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. At the same time, he felt guilty. The 5 divine elements, who had just recovered slightly, had fallen into a deep slumber due to exhaustion. He would not be able to count on them to help him for the time being. When I become a paramount expert in the future, I'll return them their freedom and do my best to help them. Duan Lingtian made a promise in his heart. It was a promise that the 5 divine elements were not aware of. There is still the divine tree of life. Duan Lingtian glanced at the divine tree of life in his little world. The divine tree of life that had been thriving and exuding a rich aura of life seemed to have withered at this moment. 1/10 of its green leaves had withered while half of them fell to the ground and drifted away with the wind. The divine tree of life in the divine offering land was forcefully absorbing the divine tree of life's vitality earlier. Is this what they mean by two tigers cannot live on the same mountain? Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Earlier, when the world-cleansing divine water had used the divine tree of life's energy to cover his tracks, it had also alerted the divine tree of life in the world of divine offering. The divine tree of life had tried to suck the divine tree of life dry in his little world. At the critical moment, the world-cleansing divine water had reminded him to temporarily close the little world in order to prevent the divine tree of life from succeeding. Everything had been so dangerous. Duan Lingtian still felt the lingering fear of being on the brink of death. At the same time, he made up his mind that he would never take such a huge risk again. The leader of a giant ultimate god force is indeed someone who has received special treatment from a paramount expert. It's truly terrifying. If it weren't for the 5 divine elements and the divine tree of life, I would have died today. Duan Lingtian took a deep breath as a smile appeared on his stiff face. Although I didn't manage to kill Yun Qingyan this time, I should have scared him out of his wits, right? He must have had mixed feelings when he saw me and was severely injured by me. Perhaps he didn't expect that I, who used to be an ant in the mundane realm, would possess strength that surpassed his. Duan Lingtian's mood improved as he thought of this. The gloom that had accumulated in his heart for hundreds of years due to Yun Qingyan's humiliation was instantly lifted. Back then, Jian Wushuang was like an ant in front of Yun Qingyan. Today, Yun Qingyan was nothing in front of Jian Wushuang. If Yun Qingyan's father had not left a mark on Jian Wushuang's body, Jian Wushuang would have killed Yun Qingyan. Yun Qingyan is extremely arrogant. This is his first setback, so he must have had a lot of inner demons. I just hope he doesn't die in the next millennium tribulation. I still want to kill him with my own hands. Duan Lingtian felt a surge of joy when he thought of this. At the same time, the divine power in Duan Lingtian's body began to surge. Even Duan Lingtian himself did not expect his cultivation base to subtly improve as the humiliation and gloom buried deep in his heart was swept away. Although he had yet to enter the lower ultimate god realm, he was getting closer to the final bottleneck of the lower ultimate god realm. As long as he entered the bottleneck and consumed the last heavenly Dao fruit, he would definitely be able to enter the ultimate god realm, the Yun clan. Yun Qingyan was still in a daze after being brought back by his father. In his mind, the scene from before kept flashing and replaying. How is this possible? He's just a commoner in a mundane realm. How could he improve so quickly in just a few hundred years? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yun Qingyan comforted himself inwardly. It must be someone else who changed his appearance on purpose to scare me and disgust me. Is it someone from the Xia clan? It must be. It must be someone from the Xia clan who doesn't like me and deliberately did this. Come back to your senses. Yun Qingyan only regained his senses when the middle-aged man beside him spoke in a deafening voice. He looked at his father. How did you offend that person? The middle-aged man frowned as he looked at his son. In his opinion, that person was definitely someone with heaven-defying luck. As long as he did not die, he would definitely soar into the sky in the future. This time, even though he had personally appeared, he still could not kill that person. That person's luck was truly heaven-defying. Chapter 42:33. Father, it's someone from the Xia clan. It must be someone from the Xia clan. Yun Qingyan said through gritted teeth. Only someone from the Xia clan would know my cousin and me so well. I suspect it's Xia Jie. Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia clan. The middle-aged man frowned when he heard Yun Qingyan's words. What nonsense are you talking about? How can it be Xia Jie? Xia Jie? What a joke. Even Xia Jie's elder brother, Xia Yu, the current patriarch of the Xia clan and his brother-in-law, did not possess such karmic luck. If Xia Jie possessed such karmic luck, his younger sister, Xia Yu, would not have become the patriarch of the Xia clan. It's not Xia Jie. Yun Qingyan believed his father's words. He could not help but frown. If it's not Xia Jie, it must be someone close to him. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to want to kill me. In his opinion, among the direct descendants of the Xia clan, only Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia clan, wanted to kill him. That person could disguise himself as a native from the mundane realm perfectly. Moreover, he did not notice anything when his cousin appeared earlier. This meant that the person knew his cousin very well. As long as he was not stupid, he would be able to guess that his cousin, Xianing Shui, was not the real person. The real person was most likely still in the realm battlefield. He had acted rashly earlier because he was not calm enough. If he had calmed down and thought about his cousin's character, she might not have come out until the realm battlefield closed in order to get rid of him and the Xia clan. A member of the Xia clan? The middle-aged man frowned again. There's such a person in the Xia clan? Do you know him? He knew all the important figures in the Xia clan. He even knew some of the younger generation of the Xia clan. However, he had never seen the young man he had met earlier. Was he a hidden genius of the Xia clan? If so, why did he want to kill his son? He could not figure it out. I don't know him. Yun Qingyan shook his head. I don't know who he is. However, I know the owner of the face he disguised himself with. I've seen him before. He's just a native from the mundane realm. Disguised himself with that face? At this moment, the middle-aged man realized that his son did not think that person's real face was someone else who had disguised himself to kill him. That person didn't change his appearance. This was something that the middle-aged man was absolutely certain of. Even if he had only guessed the identity of his true self later on, his bloodline illusion earlier was enough to confirm that the other party had not changed his appearance. That was his true appearance. That is his true appearance. When the middle-aged man's words entered Yun Qingyan's ears, it instantly crushed the last bit of hope in his heart. It caused his face to turn pale as he muttered to himself in a daze, "How is this possible? How is this possible? Father, are you sure that's his real face?" Yun Qingyan raised his head and looked at his father as though he was making a final struggle. When the middle-aged man confirmed with him, Yun Qingyan was stunned. Impossible! 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 Yun Qingyan was on the verge of breaking down. It completely collapsed. A few hundred years ago, a person who could only be trampled under his feet, who was powerless to even struggle, actually had the strength to surpass him after a few hundred years. Moreover, that person was just a native of a mundane realm. On the other hand, he was the great young master of the Yun clan, a powerful ultimate god clan in the divine offering land in the realms of gods. He was doted on by many. The cultivation resources and environment he enjoyed were the envy of many. You know him? At this moment, the middle-aged man finally realized that something was amiss. When Yun Qingyan regained his senses, his eyes were filled with killing intent and fear when he looked at the middle-aged man. Father, we must find him and kill him at all costs. Otherwise, he'll become a huge threat to the Yun clan sooner or later. There's no way he'll let the Yun clan go. Although Yun Qingyan was unwilling to accept this shocking fact, he knew he had no choice but to accept it. After accepting it, his first reaction was to urge his father to use the power of the Yun family to kill that man, so that he would not be able to grow any further. How long had it been? That person had already grown to such a level. If he was given another few hundred years, would there be anyone in the Yun clan who could stop him? At this moment, Yun Qingyan's heart was filled with regret. Although he had spared Yun Qingyan's life because his cousin, Xianing Shui, had threatened to kill him, he no longer cared about Yun Qingyan after the spatial passage between the Devata realms and the realms of gods had been sealed. Otherwise, even if the spatial passage had been sealed, he could have sent the revered elders of the Yun clan to return to the lower realms through the divine void-piercing shuttle to kill Yun Qingyan. At that time, even if his cousin, Xianing Shui, saw Yun Qingyan's soul pearl shattering, she might not suspect him. Moreover, he had to take Yun Qingyan's family and friends into consideration. It was unlikely that his cousin, Xianing Shui, would follow Yun Qingyan. I was too careless. I was too careless. I was too careless. Yun Qingyan's heart was filled with regret. If he had known Yun Qingyan would grow to such a level, he would not have underestimated him. Who is he? The middle-aged man frowned. He could sense his son's emotions fluctuating. An ominous feeling rose in his heart. Father, he's my cousin's husband in the mundane realm. Yun Qingyan said in a deep voice, Back then, when I found my cousin, I wanted to kill him. However, she threatened me with her own life, so I spared his life. After I returned to the divine offering land, the realm battlefield opened, and the spatial passage between the realms of gods and the lower realms was sealed. After that, I no longer cared about him. He's just a native from the mundane realm. What can he do even if he doesn't die? I didn't expect him to grow to such a level in just over 700 years. When I met him back then, his cultivation base was not even at the heavenly celestial stage in the Devata realms. It's obvious he used my cousin as bait to kill me. If you didn't leave a bloodline phantom in me, I would have died. The bloodline phantom was a complicated technique that could be used to forcibly infiltrate a direct descendant's body with some treasures. At a critical moment, the bloodline phantom could be used to protect the descendant's life. It was extremely difficult to obtain a bloodline phantom. At the very least, the clan leader of the Yun clan could not leave a bloodline phantom in Yun Qingyan's body since it required some rare treasures. For this reason, Yun Qingyan would not use the bloodline phantom his father had left on him unless he was on the brink of death. It was his final trump card. However, he had used it when he was lured by Duan Ling Tian. From today onwards, he would have one less life-saving talisman on him that could save his life at critical moments. Is there no way to resolve the enmity between you and him? The middle-aged man frowned slightly when he heard his son's words. Yun Qingyan had an expression of disbelief on his face. Why would his father ask such a question? Was his father trying to resolve the enmity between them? If you give up on your cousin, the enmity between you and him will be resolved, the middle-aged man said. Yun Qingyan's eyes widened in shock when he heard the middle-aged man's words. For a moment, he wondered if the middle-aged man was his biological father. Why would he say such a thing? The middle-aged man seemed to have noticed the shock on Yun Qingyan's face. He said in a deep voice, "Let's not talk about that person. In just a few hundred years, he's already strong enough to kill a medium ultimate god even though he's only a greater god. Based on the techniques he possesses, it's obvious that he's blessed by providence. You know about the 4 Taos of heaven and earth. That person has mastered 2 of them. The weapon Tao, the sword Tao, and the control Tao are not in their embryonic forms. He has a deep understanding of them. Apart from that, he also has the 5 divine elements in his body. Not just 1, but 5. All 5 divine elements are in one body, and they're not weak at all. It's common knowledge that the 5 divine elements aren't willing to coexist in a person's body unless the person is worth it for them to give up their possessiveness. Theoretically speaking, it's only a matter of time before those who are able to obtain the acknowledgement of the 5 divine elements become the strongest expert in the world, as long as they don't die prematurely. Apart from that, there's also a complete divine tree of life in his little world. A complete divine tree of life only exists in the realms of gods. There's only one possibility for a person who isn't a supreme expert to possess a complete divine tree of life. He must have gone to the ruins of a destroyed realm of gods and obtained the divine tree of life. At this point, the middle-aged man paused for a moment and looked at his son who had fallen into a daze. There are many paths for a greater god to take to become a supreme expert. Sword Tao. This is a feasible path. The control Tao is a viable path as well. A single 5 divine element is a viable path. It's also possible to obtain a complete divine tree of life. If Duan Ling Tian's fortuitous encounter is split up, theoretically speaking, it's enough to create 8 supreme powerhouses. This shows how heaven-defying his luck is. It's extremely difficult to kill someone like that. Unless he never grows, it'll be disastrous to make an enemy out of him. In fact, every word the middle-aged man said made Yun Qingyan's heart tremble. He couldn't accept it. How's this possible? He's just a lowly piece of trash from a mundane realm. How could he obtain so many fortuitous encounters that even I can only dream of? How could he? Heaven and earth are unfair. Heaven and earth are unfair. At this moment, Yun Qingyan's heart was raging with jealousy. His face was contorted in anger and malevolence. The middle-aged man studied Yun Qingyan again before he sighed and said, "It's not worth it for a woman to have such heaven-defying luck. If it's possible, give up on Ning Shui and fulfill their wish." Although the enmity between you and Ning Shui is huge, You didn't do anything to her. There's still room for negotiation. The middle-aged man was unaware that his son had not only taken Duan Lingtian's wife away. Moreover, his son had humiliated Duan Lingtian and crushed his pride as a man. At that time, Duan Lingtian had even considered killing himself. If the middle-aged man had known about this, he would not have suggested making peace with Duan Lingtian.
Father, that's impossible.
Yun Qingyan finally regained his senses and smiled sadly. Back then, following that, Yun Qingyan recounted everything that had happened to Duan Lingtian. He did not hide anything from Duan Lingtian. He knew this was the only way his father would stop trying to reconcile with Duan Lingtian. He did not want to reconcile with Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian must die. He must die. Chapter 42-34. After listening to his son's words, the clan leader of Yun clan finally understood what was going on. As it turned out, his son had humiliated Yun Qingyan to the point where there was no turning back. It was no longer a simple enmity of taking Yun Qingyan's wife away. Unless the Yun clan gave up on Yun Qingyan, there was no way they could negotiate with the other party. Naturally, even if the Yun clan gave up on Yun Qingyan might not believe them. Even if the Yun clan gave up on Yun Qingyan might still make things difficult for the Yun clan. After all, Yun Qingyan was rooted in the Yun clan. It was because of the Yun clan that Yun Qingyan became who he was. That was why Yun Qingyan could be so arrogant and humiliate Yun Qingyan. If word of this spreads in the clan, I'm sure there will be people who want to give up on my son. I can't give up on my son. The clan leader of Yun clan said resolutely. Although he had more than one son, his son was the most outstanding and resembled him the most. In fact, everyone in the clan thought Yun Qingyan was the successor of the clan leader of Yun clan. Whether it was for public or private reasons, it was impossible for him to give up on his son for a person with amazing luck who had yet to mature. You can tell me about this. There's no need to tell anyone else about this. The clan leader of Yun clan looked at Yun Qingyan and said in a deep voice, "From today onward, I'll order everyone in the clan to keep an eye out for that person. If they discover him, inform the clan immediately and kill him without mercy. His luck is indeed heaven-defying, but the Yun clan has been around for many years. Moreover, we have the protection of a supreme powerhouse. Why would we be afraid of him? Naturally, it's best if we don't let such a person mature." Upon hearing his father's words, Yun Qingyan felt relieved. However, he was still a little annoyed. He could not let it go. The person who used to be like an ant in his eyes was now riding on his head. If he had known this would happen, he would have thought of a way to kill Yun Qingyan. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Everyone has their own destiny. As Yun Qingyan's father, he seemed to have read Yun Qingyan's mind. He shook his head and said, although he comes from a humble background, his luck is heaven-defying. With the things he has, it's not surprising that he has achieved what he has today. You come from a noble background, and your life has been smooth sailing since young. Compared to him, you have both advantages and disadvantages. After a while, I'll go see the ancestor and ask him if he can let you cultivate by his side for a period of time. If the ancestor is willing to let you stay and give you some guidance, it'll be enough for you to benefit endlessly. Yun Qingyan's eyes lit up when he heard his father's words. Ancestor. He naturally knew what the grand ancestor that his father spoke of represented. Even to him, that person was a legendary figure. He had never seen him before. The other party was the ultimate powerhouse behind the Yun family. He was also an ancestor of the Yun family, a supreme expert, an existence that stood at the pinnacle of this world. If I can cultivate by the ancestor's side, not to mention other improvements, even if that Duan Lingtian has thousands of tricks up his sleeve, he won't be able to touch me again. If he still dares to show his face, ancestor's breath will be enough to kill him. At this moment, Yun Qingyan's confidence returned. That day, the patriarch of the Yun family gave an order to the higher-ups to inform them of Duan Lingtian's existence. He was a person with heaven-defying luck. He was not even 1,000 years old, but he was already an upper-ranked divine emperor who could kill an ordinary intermediate ultimate god. Apart from that, he had mastered the sword principle and the control principle. His attainments in both were extremely high. Moreover, he had the 5 divine elements in his body. He was extremely talented and possessed the complete divine tree of life in his little world. He had the potential to be an ultimate powerhouse. The Yun family is irreconcilable with this person. He killed our father and stole our wife. From today onward, the Yun family will do our best to search for him and find a way to kill him. The Yun family will owe anyone who kills him a favor. As long as it's within the Yun family's power, we'll do our best to help. Even if you want to seek enlightenment in front of the ancestor, I'll do my best to help. After the patriarch of the Yun family gave the order and made a promise, a commotion broke out among the higher-ups of the Yun family. Everyone knew the name Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian. That name sounds familiar. A medium ultimate god from the Yun family who had just returned from outside felt that the name sounded familiar. He seemed to have heard of it somewhere before. After thinking for about a dozen breaths, he finally came back to his senses. I remember now. I brought my wife and son back to my family in the Xingang land some time ago. I've heard of him. A heaven-defying student of the Myriad Law Academy from the Xingang land, a heaven-defying force. He entered the divine trial ground and stepped into the Upper God Emperor realm from the Upper God Emperor realm in 3 years. He could easily kill an Emperor God when he was just an upper-rank divine emperor. It was said that he could kill an ultimate god when he was just an upper-rank divine emperor. I didn't expect it to be true. Moreover, the patriarch said that he could even kill an ordinary intermediate ultimate god. The middle-level ultimate god from the Yun clan could not help but gasp at the thought of that. After a while, the medium ultimate god from the Yun family reported what he knew to the patriarch of the Yun family. The patriarch also personally went to the Xingang land. It was obvious that he was wary of Duan Lingtian and valued him greatly. After a trip, he confirmed that the Duan Lingtian in the Xingang land was the same Duan Lingtian who had lured his son, Yun Xingyin, to death. At this time, he also learned about Duan Lingtian's growth. He had risen from the Xingang land at an astonishing speed and with heaven-defying luck. Moreover, those who thought they knew about Duan Lingtian in the Xingang land only knew a little about him. There were many things that they did not know. For example, he had the 5 divine elements. Another example was the complete deep water of life in his little world. The Myriad Arts Academy? On the surface, the Myriad Arts Academy doesn't seem to have any supreme experts backing it. However, according to the patriarch, the Myriad Arts Academy in the Xingang land is a little special. On the surface, it doesn't seem to have any supreme experts backing it, but in fact, there are several supreme experts keeping an eye on it. In the past, there seemed to be a giant ultimate god force in the Xingang land who wanted to seize something from the Myriad Arts Academy. However, they were stopped by the supreme experts backing them up. The Myriad Arts Academy is a little complicated. If it was an ordinary ultimate god force, I would have just threatened them. Although the patriarch of the Yun family was somewhat wary of the Myriad Arts Academy, he still personally went to the Myriad Arts Academy to visit the Palace Master, Su Baili. Greetings, Palace Master of the Myriad Arts Academy, Su Baili. After learning the identity of the visitor, even Su Baili, the Palace Master of the Myriad Arts Academy, could not help but gasp. The patriarch of the Yun family. On the surface, he was one of the few strongest higher ultimate gods in the world of divine offering. The Yun family was also a giant ultimate god force in the world of divine offering. Their ancestor was a living supreme expert. May I know the reason for your visit to the Myriad Arts Academy, Patriarch Yun? Su Baili was a little puzzled by the visitor's visit. He did not know why the visitor suddenly came to visit. The Myriad Arts Academy and the Yun family in the world of divine offering did not have any interactions. Could it be because of Duan Lingtian? Su Baili suddenly remembered that recently, many giant ultimate god forces in the Xingang land had sent people to contact him. They were all testing him and wanted to recruit Duan Lingtian. Perhaps this important person from the Yun family in the world of divine offering was also here for Duan Lingtian? Other than that, he could not think of any other reason. Palace Master Su. The patriarch of the Yun family looked at Su Baili and smiled faintly. I'm here to ask for a favor from you, Palace Master Su. I wonder if it's convenient? Asked the patriarch of the Yun family. His question immediately convinced Su Bailey of his previous thoughts. However, he still maintained his composure. Patriarch Yun, what kind of favor do you want? If it's within my power, I don't mind doing you a favor. It's my honor to be friends with Patriarch Yun. Su Bailey knew very well that although he and the person in front of him were both high-level ultimate gods, if they were to engage in a life-and-death battle, he might not be able to last more than 10 moves. Such a person was no longer on the same level as him. Palace Master Su is straightforward. The patriarch of the Yun family smiled. Then, his eyes narrowed and he said bluntly, Palace Master Su, why don't you issue a statement to expel Duan Lingtian from the Myriad Arts Academy? The patriarch of the Yun family's words stunned Su Bailey. He originally thought that the patriarch of the Yun family wanted the Myriad Arts Academy to give Duan Lingtian to him. However, he did not expect that the patriarch of the Yun family wanted the Myriad Arts Academy to expel Duan Lingtian. Could it be that he wants to recruit Duan Lingtian at the same time as the Myriad Arts Academy expel Duan Lingtian? That's not right. He wants me to issue a statement. When that time comes, Duan Lingtian will have plenty of choices. Why would he choose the distant Yun family in the divine offering land when the Xingang land is nearby? At this moment, Su Bailey, the palace master of the Myriad Arts Academy, was a little confused. On second thought, a thought flashed in his mind. His pupils shrank slightly as he thought of another possibility. Duan Lingtian offended the Yun family? Su Bailey secretly took a deep breath, looked at the patriarch of the Yun family, and asked bluntly, Patriarch Yun, did Duan Lingtian offend your Yun family? In response to Su Bailey's question, the patriarch of the Yun family only replied with 4 words. I must kill him. These 4 words showed his determination to kill Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Su Bailey's expression changed. He was no longer as enthusiastic as before and became somewhat cold. Patriarch Yun, isn't it a little inappropriate to say that you want to kill a student of the Myriad Arts Academy in front of the palace master of the Myriad Arts Academy? The patriarch of the Yun family saw the change in Su Bailey's expression and looked at him deeply. Palace Master Su, do you think that you can defeat me? As soon as he finished speaking, the divine power on the patriarch of the Yun family vibrated. A terrifying aura raged out, causing the surrounding space to tremble and ferocious spatial cracks to appear. When Su Bailey saw this, his gaze turned cold. Yun Tingqiu, I, Su Bailey, am no match for you. However, in my Myriad Arts Academy, it's not your turn to be presumptuous. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Bailey's aura shook the void. In an instant, the entire Myriad Arts Academy trembled. Then, an earth-shattering power rose from all over the Myriad Arts Academy, as vast as the sea. The Myriad Arts Academy's palace-protecting grand array, which had been dormant for many years, was instantly activated. What's happening? Why is the palace-protecting grand array activated? Is a great enemy attacking? In my life, this is the first time I've seen the palace-protecting grand array activated. Is a great enemy coming to our Myriad Arts Academy? Everywhere in the Myriad Arts Academy, there was a commotion as figures soared into the sky. Chapter 42-35. Within the 10,000 Arts Academy, the Great Protective Array was activated, causing the void to tremble. Anyone within the 10,000 Arts Academy could clearly see that the void was swaying and rippling like water. It was as if the sky could collapse at any moment. A terrifying aura pierced through the void, as if it carried an extremely terrifying power. It condensed at a single point, and the power was so strong that it seemed to be able to penetrate everything. At the same time, the Yun family head, Yun Tingqiu, who had originally appeared strong in front of Su Bailey, instantly withdrew his solemn expression when he sensed the terrifying aura of the Great Protective Array and that oppressive feeling of suffocation. In an instant, the aura on his body was also withdrawn, and his entire person returned to how it was before the outbreak. Palace Master Su, this Yun was just joking. I hope you don't take offense. Yun Tingqiu looked at Su Bailey, who was staring at him coldly, and smiled slightly as if nothing had happened. It was as if he had really just made a harmless joke. As for Su Bailey, after taking a deep look at him, He also withdrew the Great Protective Array of the 10,000 Arts Academy. Family head Yun, it's best not to joke around. If this happens again, the Great Protective Array of the 10,000 Arts Academy will not be so easy to withdraw. Su Baili's words were already considered a threat. However, Yun Tengchio was in the wrong after all, so he was not angry. Rest assured, Palace Master Su, there won't be a next time. Since Palace Master Su is unwilling, this Yun won't force you. I'll take my leave now. After bidding farewell to Su Baili, Yun Tengchio turned around and left. I won't see you out. As for Su Baili's indifferent words, Yun Tengchio pretended not to hear them. In fact, at this time, Yun Tengchio's thoughts were not on Su Baili. The originally turbulent 10,000 Arts Academy regained its calm due to the withdrawal of the Great Protective Array. In fact, many people did not even know what had just happened. Only a few people knew that the Myriad Arts Academy must have encountered a powerful enemy. Otherwise, the Palace Protecting Grand Array wouldn't have been activated so suddenly. As for why the Palace Protecting Grand Array was quickly withdrawn, although they didn't know the specific situation, it wasn't difficult to guess that the powerful enemy should have been scared away by the Palace Protecting Grand Array of their Myriad Arts Academy. After all, they had long heard that their 10,000 Arts Academy's Palace Protecting Grand Formation was something left behind by an extremely powerful expert. It was to the extent that their Myriad Law Palace was known as the Xingang Land, the safest place under the giant god venerable level forces. Giant godly venerable level forces all had supreme experts behind them. Among them was the Sect Protecting Formation. The Clan Protection Formation would definitely be the work of an ultimate powerhouse. Furthermore, there would be an ultimate powerhouse protecting them from behind. Once there was a real crisis, the ultimate powerhouse would most likely appear personally. Therefore, no one doubted that the venerable god-level forces were the safest places in the mystic Handle Land. As for the Myriad Arts Academy, it could be considered the safest place under the god-venerable level forces. One could imagine how powerful the Palace Protecting Grand Formation was. How generous! After leaving the Myriad Law Academy, Yun Tengchio, the patriarch of the Yun family, giant god-venerable level family in the world of divine remains, had a look of lingering fear on his face. The Myriad Law Academy's Great Protective Array is definitely the work of many supreme masters. It's definitely not weaker than the Yun family's Great Protective Array. If it's really activated, I'll definitely die if I don't leave the Myriad Law Academy within 3 strikes. In fact, Yun Tengchio did not really intend to do anything to the Myriad Law Academy's patriarch, Su Baili. He was more of a probe to see how important Duan Lingtian was to Su Baili. Now it seems that although Duan Lingtian hasn't been in the Myriad Law Academy for long, he has already gained the recognition of the Myriad Law Academy. In his opinion, gaining the recognition of Su Baili, the patriarch of the Myriad Law Academy, was equivalent to gaining the recognition of the entire Myriad Law Academy. This was because the patriarch was the most respected person in the Myriad Law Academy. It's a little unrealistic to get rid of Duan Lingtian through the Myriad Law Academy. I can only think of a way myself. Thinking of this, Yun Tengchio could not help but frown slightly. A guy with heaven-defying luck. Could he and the Yun family really get rid of him before he matured? Of course, even if Duan Lingtian really matured, he and the Yun family had nothing to fear. After all, they still had an ultimate expert behind them. To be exact, it was an utmost expert, and that utmost expert's other utmost expert friends. If he wanted to touch the foundation of the Yun family, he would have to go through the ultimate expert behind the Yun family. Of course, even if the Yun family was not afraid, if they really made a strong enemy, it was not something that he, or even the Yun family, wished to see. After all, although they had supreme experts behind them, the supreme experts could also protect them at all times. Ultimate experts also had their own things to do. Sometimes, they could not even spare time to do anything else because they had to be on duty to guard the outer realm. That girl Ning Shui really knows how to find a man. When he left the Xingang land, Yun Tengchio thought of his niece and shook his head. Maybe Yin really doesn't deserve her. But, suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. He narrowed his eyes and a cold light flashed through his eyes. After the dimensional battlefield closes, Yin and her will still have to follow the agreement with the Xia family and get married normally. That Duan Lingtian wants to seduce and kill my son. Then, I'll let Yin take his wife. At that time, he won't be able to sit still. He'll definitely show up. The day he shows up will be the day he dies. Yun Tengqiu could not help but look forward to the day when Duan Lingtian would show up and die. Of course, that's on the premise that Ning Shui is safe in the dimensional battlefield. However, when Yun Tengqiu returned to the Yun family in the world of divine remains and learned from his son that the group of people from the Xia family who came to threaten Xia Ningxue had been released by the third master of the Xia family, Xia Jie, his expression changed. If that was the case, would Xia Ningxue still be threatened and marry his son? After all, the people who could threaten Xia Ningxue had been released. Xia Jie, you've ruined my plan. Killing intent flashed in the depths of Yun Tengqiu's eyes. If that was the case, his plan to force Duan Lingtian to show up and kill Duan Lingtian on the day of his son's wedding with Xia Ningxue would be difficult to achieve. Yun Tengqiu took a deep breath as his eyes gleamed coldly. I don't think Ningxue knows about this yet, right? Unless Xia Jie finds her in the dimensional battlefield, she won't know about it. Yun Qingyin paused for a moment before he added, at the very least, she won't know about it before she comes out. That's good. Yun Tengqiu nodded when he heard this. His expression softened a little. I'll make a trip to the Xia family now to meet your uncle. We must keep the news of Xia Jie releasing those people a secret. Moreover, if Xia Jie returns, we must capture him and imprison him as well. We mustn't let Ningxue know that Duan Lingtian's family and friends have been released by Xia Jie. Otherwise, she won't be forced to marry you anymore. Yun Qingyan's eyes lit up when he heard Yun Tengqiu's words. He had thought his plan to marry his cousin Xia Ningxue would be ruined after 100 years. However, it seemed like with his father's help, his plan could still be carried out as long as his cousin did not die in the dimensional battlefield. He could not help but look forward to it. Duan Lingtian, even if you're lucky enough to be stronger than me in a few hundred years, so what? You're nothing but a nobody. I have the Yun family behind me. How are you going to fight me? The Myriad Law Academy is merely a heavyweight, godly, venerable rank force. They might not even stand up for you. Even if they do, what can they change? Yun Qingyin sneered inwardly. Duan Lingtian was unaware of the series of events that happened in the Yun family after he failed to kill Yun Qingyin. He also did not know that the patriarch of the Yun family, Yun Tengqiu, had personally gone to the Myriad Law Academy in the Xingyang land for him. Now, he had entered the dimensional battlefield again. This time, he entered the planar battlefield as a member of the world of divine remains. His next goal was to break through to the godly venerable realm. Previously, he had almost died in the hands of the Yun family patriarch in the divine offering land. He was still traumatized and was eager to improve his strength. Although I'm stronger than Yun Qingyin, he has the Yun family behind him. It'll be harder for me to kill him before I can do anything to the Yun family. Duan Lingtian knew this very well. Previously, he had alerted Yun Qingyin. It was almost impossible for him to lure Yun Qingyin into killing him. Even if he did, Yun Qingyin would not fall for it. The dimensional battlefield is too big. I wonder where Kerr is. In the divine adjudication battlefield, where the divine offering land and the punishment lands intersected, it was rare to encounter a godly venerable realm cultivator without entering the inner area. Duan Lingtian was unimpeded in the divine adjudication battlefield. No one was his match. However, after entering the inner area, he would encounter some godly venerable realm cultivators. He would kill them and plunder their rewards. As he digested the rewards, Duan Lingtian's cultivation base continued to improve. He was getting closer and closer to the bottleneck to becoming a higher god emperor. There are still more than 30 years before the opening of the four-dimensional battlefield. I'll try my best to break through to the godly venerable realm within these 30 years. At that time, the dimensional battlefield of the realms of gods will converge and the most dangerous area will open. Danger also represents opportunity. That place will tempt those who desire to become stronger. Kerr must have entered the dimensional battlefield to become stronger. At that time, she'll definitely enter the dimensional battlefield as well. When the dimensional battlefield of the realms of gods converged, a chaotic area would appear. It would only appear once every 100 years. Every 1,000 years since the planar battlefield opened, that area would appear 10 times. It was said that there were more fortuitous opportunities in the dimensional battlefield. The secret zones, treasures, and fortuitous opportunities that appeared there were more and better. Chapter 42-36. It was very difficult to obtain battle merits in the dimensional battlefield, especially if one wanted to open secret realms that targeted upper-rank emperor gods. It required a lot of battle merits. Usually, upper-rank emperor gods would need to spend hundreds of years to accumulate enough battle merits. However, for Duan Lingtian, it was much easier to obtain battle merits. This was because he could kill ordinary ultimate gods and steal their battle merits. Under such circumstances, although he was only a upper-rank emperor god, his speed of accumulating battle merits was much faster than ordinary medium ultimate gods. I am a upper-rank emperor god. When I open a secret realm, I can only open a corresponding secret realm. There are secret realms for multiple people and single people. A single-person secret realm requires a certain amount of battle merits to open. As for the secret realms for multiple people, they don't require that much battle merits. However, if one pays more battle merits, there will be fewer competitors in the secret realm. When opening a secret realm, if it wasn't a single-person secret realm or a multiple-person secret realm, everyone would pay the same amount of battle merits. If someone paid enough battle merits, they might be able to open a secret realm for 2 people. As for a single-person secret realm, one would need to reach a certain threshold to open it. Moreover, once one reached that threshold, they would definitely be able to open it. Of course, one could also accumulate more battle merits to open a single-person secret realm. If one's battle merits far exceeded the threshold, they would be able to upgrade the single-person secret realm to a higher-level secret realm. A higher-level secret realm would have more treasures and more opportunities. Next, I'll just keep accumulating battle merits and not enter any secret realms. I'll wait until that area is about to open before I open the single-person secret realm. With my current speed of accumulating battle merits, I'll definitely be able to obtain an amazing amount of battle merits by that time. The single-person secret realm won't be bad with that amount of battle merits. Of course, it's best to enter the secret realm after breaking through to the ultimate god realm. In that case, the secret realm I enter will be a secret realm targeted at lower-rank ultimate gods. In the dimensional battlefield, secret realms corresponded to one's cultivation level. People of different cultivation levels would not appear in the same secret realm. Even if there was a situation, it would definitely be someone who made a temporary breakthrough in the secret realm. People of different cultivation levels would not be able to enter the same secret realm. There were some fortuitous encounters that could only be used by supreme gods and not by god emperors. They would not appear in the arch-mystic realm. On the other hand, things that were useful to god emperors and not to divine venerables would not appear in the divine venerables secret realm. For that reason, Duan Lingtian felt that it was best for him to use all his battle merits to open a single secret realm before the opening of that area. Who knows, he might be able to completely consolidate his cultivation inside. This was also one of Duan Lingtian's current ambitions. In the following period of time, Duan Lingtian began to focus on collecting battle merits. At the same time, he did not forget to absorb the rewards of the rules and improve his cultivation base. His cultivation base was rising with every passing moment. Under such circumstances, once the quantity accumulated to a certain extent, it would inevitably usher in a qualitative change. At that time, Duan Lingtian would be able to break through his current cultivation base and officially step into the ultimate god realm with the help of the last heavenly Tao fruit. On this day, Duan Lingtian suddenly felt like he was being spied on after killing a superior god emperor from the land of sanctions. He focused his eyes and looked at a barren hill in the distance before using his divine consciousness to scan the area. In the next moment, he discovered that there was a superior god emperor hiding there. I mean no harm. At the same time when Duan Lingtian discovered the other party flew out and looked at Duan Lingtian apologetically. I'm also from the land of divine remains and happened to hear the commotion here, so I came over to take a look. Then, I saw you kill a man from the land of sanctions with my own eyes. You're indeed very powerful. You killed him with ease. You should be a half-step ultimate god, right? The person who came was a seemingly gentle and weak young man. He seemed a little extroverted, but he was still wary of Duan Lingtian. However, when he asked if Duan Lingtian was a half-step ultimate god, there was a hint of anticipation in the depth of his eyes, as if he was looking forward to something. Half-step ultimate god? Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard the other party's words. He then nodded slightly. You can say that. The strongest superior god emperor seemed to be called a half-step ultimate god. If that was the case, it would not be a problem to say that he was a half-step ultimate god. In fact, Duan Lingtian had not only killed a group of god emperors and ultimate gods from the land of sanctions, but he had also killed quite a few from the land of divine remains. However, most of them were from the land of divine remains who attacked him first. He did not touch those from the land of divine remains who did not take the initiative to attack him. However, up until now, apart from a few higher god emperors, most of the people from the divine offering land whom Duan Lingtian had encountered had attacked him. Even the two lower-rank ultimate gods from the world of divine remains attacked him. Of course, the result was self-evident. They were both killed by him. After receiving Duan Lingtian's confirmation, the seemingly weak young man's eyes suddenly lit up. My name is Holianyu. I'm from the Ho clan, a heavyweight ultimate god clan from the land of divine remains. How may I address you? Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian looked at the other party as he responded. He did not expect the other party to be from a heavyweight ultimate god clan from the land of divine remains. A heavyweight ultimate god clan from the land of divine remains was in existence on par with the Myriad Art Academy and the Monorigin Divine Sect in the Xinjiang land. Elder Brother Duan. Holianyu addressed Duan Lingtian as Elder Brother when he spoke again. Duan Lingtian could not help but be startled. I may not be older than you. I know. Holianyu smiled. However, in my eyes, those who are stronger are the seniors. Elder Brother Duan, you're stronger than me. It's normal for me to address you as Elder Brother. Elder Brother Duan, it's fate to meet you. I'm looking for someone to enter the secret realm with. I wonder if you're interested? Elder Brother Duan, don't worry. You don't have to pay any battle merits. The secret realms I'm talking about are the natural secret realms that you accidentally encounter in the dimensional battlefield. There's no need to pay any battle merits. That's what we encountered by luck. Holianyu continued. Upon hearing Holianyu's words, Duan Lingtian, who was about to leave and stop being entangled with Holianyu, became interested. You encountered a secret realm with a few people? There were indeed some natural secret realms in the dimensional battlefield. Those secret realms were even more mysterious and very rare. Those who were not extremely lucky would not encounter them. At least, he had not encountered any. Even his third senior brother, Yang Yuchen, who had wandered the planar battlefield for nearly 1,000 years, had never encountered a mystic realm like this. Generally speaking, there was a limit to the number of people who could enter such secret realms. Moreover, there was a limit to one's cultivation base as well. Only those with the same cultivation base could enter. It's the secret realm that I found with the other three, Lin Feng said. Holianyu grinned. One of the other three people is also from our Ho clan. When Duan Lingtian spoke up to this point, it was not difficult for him to notice a hint of disgust that flashed in the depth of Holianyu's eyes. Although it was fleeting, Duan Lingtian still noticed it. As for the other two people, they're from another powerful force in the divine offering land. They're both people I know. This time, the four of us agreed to find one person from the dimensional battlefield to enter the secret realm. That secret realm can accommodate 10 people, but we're only planning to send 8 people in. This way, it's fair to all four of us. It can't be that one person can only invite one person while the other person can invite 2 people, right? Previously, I've met other powerful upper god emperors from other forces. I wanted to invite them, but they either wanted to kill me or ignored me. They were afraid that I would kill them with others, so they rejected me. Holianyu looked helpless. Elder Brother Duan, if you're unwilling, I won't force you. Holianyu said again. Obviously, she was mentally prepared. Why don't you find someone you know instead of someone else from the dimensional battlefield? Duan Lingtian asked in confusion. This was really puzzling because they could have found someone from their own clan to enter with them. There was no need to look everywhere. We all have our concerns, Holianyu said. Holianyu said, if it's someone from the same force, it might not be a good thing for us to expose that we encountered that kind of natural secret realm. After all, the four of us don't have any special status in our own forces. In addition, it's useless to find someone from another force if they're weak. If they're too strong, it won't be a good thing for us either. Although Holianyu didn't say too much, Duan Lingtian could guess what she was worried about. They came from the same force, but the other party was stronger than them, and they knew that they entered a secret realm with them. They knew what treasures they obtained. This was indeed not a good thing. If it was an outsider, even if they ran to the gate of your force and shouted that you obtained some treasures, most people wouldn't take them seriously. They would only think that the other party was deliberately slandering and disgusting them. Hearing Ho Qingyu's words, Duan Lingtian looked deeply at him and asked, if I enter the secret realm with you and join forces with you, how will we split everything we obtain inside? When Holianyu heard that, she smiled and said, Big brother Duan, your strength far surpasses mine. Whatever you obtain with your personal strength is all yours. If you need my help to obtain it, you take 70% and I take 30%. How about it? As for you and I, we both have the ability to deal with it. Whoever moves faster gets it. How about it? Holianyu's words were very sincere. Sure. Duan Lingtian agreed immediately. Apart from that, if I get something I don't need and you need it, I can give you some. Take it as a reward for inviting me. The smile on Holianyu's face brightened when she heard Duan Lingtian's words. I really found the right person. Elder brother Duan, you're such a picky person. She didn't forget to give Duan Lingtian a thumbs up to show her admiration. Big brother Duan, we agreed to meet 3 months from now, and there's less than a month's time left. Next, shall we head towards the direction we agreed to meet? Holianyu asked for Duan Lingtian's opinion. Sure. Duan Lingtian nodded. He was not worried that Holianyu would lie to him. First, it was unnecessary. Second, it was unlikely that Holianyu would find a half-step ultimate god if she really wanted to trick him. Moreover, he was quite good at reading people. He dared not say he was 100% sure that Holianyu was not lying, but he was at least 80% or 90% sure. Chapter 42:37. Sometimes, luck was something that could not be envied. For example, Holianyu, whom Duan Lingtian had just met, came from an extraordinary background. She was the descendant of the Ho clan, one of the most influential clans in the world of divine remains. She was born with great luck, and after entering the planar battlefield, he actually encountered a natural mystic realm. Many people had lived for tens of thousands of years and stayed in the dimensional battlefield for thousands of years, but they had never encountered a natural secret realm even once. Natural secret realms were left behind by supreme experts in the dimensional battlefield, waiting for the fated ones to open them. They did not require battle merits to open them. Battle merits' secret realms were reserved for the unlucky ones. This group of people was also the largest group of people in the dimensional battlefield. Elder brother Duan, which clan or clan do I come from in the world of divine remains? Holianyu curiously asked Duan Lingtian about his background along the way. Jin Wushuang had a good impression of the humble half-step ultimate god and did not underestimate him from the beginning to the end. Even though his strength was close to that of a half-step ultimate god, many half-step ultimate gods looked down on him and were extremely arrogant in front of him. I'm just a rogue cultivator. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly and did not say that he was not from the world of divine remains, but from the Xingang land. He was not familiar with Holianyu. There was no need to completely reveal his background. A rogue cultivator? Holianyu's eyes widened. Elder brother Duan, you're just a rogue cultivator? You don't even look older than me. I thought you came from some powerful clan, but you're just a rogue cultivator? It's hard to imagine that a rogue cultivator could have the strength of a half-step ultimate god at such a young age. Although he did not specifically check Duan Lingtian's bone age, he could still vaguely sense the gap between them when there was a large age gap between them. Just like now, He could vaguely sense that Duan Lingtian was younger than him. Generally speaking, if people of the same cultivation base had such an age gap, it meant that they were at least 3,000 years apart. I've thought about it before. If I were a rogue cultivator, would I have the strength I have today? If I had to choose again, would I choose to become a loose cultivator or a young master of the Ho clan? However, the answer is usually the latter. Holianyu sighed. Elder brother Duan, as a rogue cultivator, you must have suffered a lot to achieve your current strength, right? It's all right. Duan Lingtian smiled. I can only say that everyone has their own opportunities. If one is born with an extraordinary background and is content with the status quo, one can only rely on one's birth. If one is willing to venture out, one is not much different from an unaffiliated cultivator. Perhaps one might even be able to find some fortuitous encounters that should only belong to unaffiliated cultivators. Regardless of one's background, it all depends on the person. Duan Lingtian could not help but think of Yunqing Yin from the Yun clan. Back when he was still in the mundane realm, he had thought that Yunqing Yin was unreachable and powerful. But looking back now, it was just like that. In less than 1,000 years, he had surpassed his opponent. In terms of background, he could not compare to Yunqing Yin at all. However, Yunqing Yin could not compare to him at all when it came to the dangers he had gone through along the way. If Yunqing Yin was born in the Yun clan and was willing to venture out, with his adventurous spirit, he might have become a high-level ultimate god by now. Naturally, Duan Lingtian knew it was impossible. Even if he was born in a powerful ultimate god clan like the Yun clan, it was impossible for him to give up a comfortable life and venture out. Moreover, he had a motive for venturing out to the mundane realm so he could bring his wife, Kerr, home. From the moment he left the mundane realm and entered the Devata realms, he wanted to go to the divine offering land and bring his wife, Kerr, home. He wanted to save his family and friends. Later on, his family and friends were saved by Xiajia, the third master of the Xia clan. His only goal was to bring his wife, Kerr, home. It was all for this reason that he had grown stronger. Of course, during this process, he had broadened his horizons and realized the strength of the strong. He further realized that this world was dominated by the strong. He wanted to become stronger not only to bring his wife home, but also to protect his family better in the future. Becoming a godly god was not enough. Only by becoming a supreme powerhouse could one be fearless. Perhaps, after becoming a supreme powerhouse, there would be some veteran supreme powerhouses who were stronger than him. For this reason, becoming a supreme powerhouse might not be the end. In any case, Duan Lingtian would not give up on becoming stronger. He would live his life to become stronger and protect the people and things he wanted to protect. Ever since Duan Lingtian met Holianyu and the other 3 people he mentioned, he did not meet anyone from the Land of Punishment. He did meet someone from the Mystic Gangland, but since that person did not take the initiative to attack him, he did not make a move as well. As for Holianyu, he did not make a move as well. For this reason, everything was peaceful. A month later, Duan Lingtian followed Holianyu and met the other 3 people he mentioned. One of them was from the Ho clan, a powerful clan in the Land of Divine Remains. As for the other 2, they were also from powerful clans in the Land of Divine Remains, but they were from the same sect. They were a pair of martial brothers and sisters. However, judging from the man's flattery in front of the woman, it was obvious that the woman had a higher status. At this moment, there was another person beside the 3 of them. Holianyu, this person you found seems to be younger than you. Is he reliable? The other person from the Ho clan was also a young man. He glanced at Duan Lingtian beside Holianyu and said with a mocking expression. Duan Lingtian was young, and even Holianyu could vaguely sense it, let alone this person from the Ho clan who was slightly older than Holianyu. Ho Dong. Holianyu glanced at him indifferently. You don't have to worry about this. I'll make my own decisions about the person I found. It's not up to you to tell me what to do. The young man named Ho Dong narrowed his eyes slightly. I'm just worried about you. If you die with me, I'm afraid your big brother will come after me. After all, this time, my brother asked me to go with you for your big brother's sake. Ho Dong said. Holianyu sneered. Ho Dong, don't flatter yourself. Your strength is about the same as mine. Even if you're slightly stronger, You haven't reached the half-step ultimate god realm. Aren't you going with me for your own safety? Along the way, there have been at least 3 times. If I didn't make a move and you took the initiative to provoke others, would you have survived? Hou Yanyu was a little annoyed when she thought of Ho Dong taking the initiative to attack a few of her own people from the land of divine remains. She had no intention of taking the initiative to attack people from the land of divine remains, but Ho Dong did not care about that. He wanted to pinch them whenever he saw them as soft persimmons. There were a few times when Ho Dong was almost no match for them. It was only because he took action that they were defeated or killed. Ho Dong glanced at Hou Yanyu disdainfully. Hou Yanyu, if you're really so pure and simple, don't share the spoils with me if you dare. Hou Yanyu snorted coldly. Since I took action, of course I have to share the spoils. This has nothing to do with you stirring up trouble. Ho Dong had provoked people from the land of divine remains. After he helped Ho Dong kill the other party, he usually took the other party's divine weapon for himself. As for the spatial ring, Ho Dong did not gain anything. He did this not only to share the spoils, but also to make Ho Dong behave and stop stirring up trouble. If he stirred up trouble, the spoils might not necessarily belong to Ho Dong. Obviously, Ho Dong did not notice his good intentions and only thought that he wanted to take advantage of him. That's enough. At this moment, the senior brother of the senior brother and junior sister, a tall young man, glanced at Ho Dong indifferently. Both of you, be quiet. Now, introduce the people you've brought. No matter what, we still need to work together when we enter the secret realm. As soon as the tall young man spoke, Hou Yanyu and Ho Dong stopped arguing with each other. Let me introduce my friend first. Hou Yanyu was the first to speak. She looked at Duan Lingtian and said, his name is Duan Lingtian. He's the helper I found for this trip to the secret realm. He's also my friend. Elder brother Duan is a seckless cultivator, Hou Yanyu said. Hou Yanyu said, a seckless cultivator? As soon as Hou Yanyu finished speaking, not only Ho Dong, but the group of senior brother and junior sister and the other 3 people brought by the 3 of them instinctively looked at Duan Lingtian. To them, the term seckless cultivator was a little distant. There was no lack of powerhouses among the seckless cultivators. However, compared to those who came from a certain force, there were fewer of them. If they were to compare the number of powerhouses, they were not on the same level at all. Therefore, when Hou Yanyu said that the person she brought was a seckless cultivator, the few of them looked at Duan Lingtian curiously. Elder brother Duan, this is Ho Dong. He's also a member of our Ho clan. This is Qiuping. He's from our Divine Offering Land's heavyweight ultimate god sect, the Misty Rain Divine Sect. This is Jiang Yue. She's also a disciple of the Misty Rain Divine Sect. She's also the direct descendant of a mid-level ultimate god expert in the Misty Rain Divine Sect. As soon as Hou Yanyu said that, Duan Lingtian looked calm and did not feel anything. It was not like he had never killed a mid-level ultimate god before. However, the people brought by Ho Dong and Qiuping changed their expressions. They did not expect there to be such a person in their group. On the other hand, the veiled young lady brought by Jiang Yue did not seem to react at all. Of course, it could be that the veil was hiding the shock on her face. As soon as Hou Yanyu finished speaking, Ho Dong also introduced the person he brought along. Although this friend of mine is not from a heavyweight ultimate god sect, he's also a genius from an ultimate god sect. His strength is almost on par with an ultimate god. He's a half-step ultimate god. He glanced at Hou Yanyu proudly as he finished his sentence. Hou Yanyu frowned upon hearing that. It was not a good thing for Ho Dong to find a half-step ultimate god. He was not worried that Ho Dong would steal anything from him, but he was worried that Ho Dong's arrogance would drag the group down. Chapter 42-38. As Ho Dong introduced the half-step ultimate gods, Qiuping and Jiang Yue also introduced the people around them. The people around Qiuping were also half-step ultimate gods, so Qiuping specifically mentioned them. However, Jiang Yue only mentioned the name of the young woman with a veil on her face beside Jiang Yue. She did not mention how strong she was. Since everyone is here, let's go straight there. Although we've hidden the place, things might change if we delay. Once someone discovers the formation we left behind and attacks it, the natural secret realm will be frightened, and leave its original location. Xiaoping said, "Only those who were lucky could find the natural secret realms in the dimensional battlefield. Once found, one could choose not to enter for the time being and set up a formation to conceal it. However, if the formation was not removed normally and was forcefully destroyed, the natural secret realm's entrance would be disturbed and leave its original location. The natural secret realm's entrance was not stable. Once there was a violent vibration around it, it would be frightened and leave its original location. Let's go there now." Hodong seemed to be a little anxious after hearing Xiaoping's words and hurriedly urged them. Due to his anxiety, he did not quarrel with Holy Inu for the rest of the journey and was fully focused on their journey. The dimensional battlefield did not allow the use of divine weapons or spaceships. Once a divine weapon or spaceship was taken out, it would be directly destroyed by the dimensional battlefield's power of law. That was also the dimensional battlefield's rule. Because of that, those who entered the dimensional battlefield for the first time with elders were warned not to take out divine weapons or spaceships in the dimensional battlefield. That was because taking out a divine weapon or spaceship in the dimensional battlefield was no different from destroying it. Most of the places in the dimensional battlefield were very barren. There was nothing to see and the sky was dark. However, there were a few places that had some vegetation. However, the vegetation there was not emerald green. Instead, it was withered yellow. There were also towering mountains here, but there was no greenery in the mountains. There was only withered yellow everywhere. Presently, Duanling Tian was following Holy Inu and the others as they moved through an expanse of towering mountains and lofty ridges before finally descending into a valley. After entering the valley, there was a very inconspicuous cave. After everyone entered and passed through the cave, they entered a world inside the cave that looked like a paradise. It was extremely dark inside. They could only see clearly by lighting up the flames in their hands. So hidden. The half-step ultimate god that Xiaoping brought along was a middle-aged man from the divine offering land. He was surprised. The middle-aged man came from an ultimate god sect in the divine offering land. That ultimate god sect had some connections with the mist rain sect that Xiaoping was from. Therefore, Xiaoping found that person. Although Xiaoping kept his distance from the dimensional battlefield, Duanling Tian guessed that Xiaoping had left the dimensional battlefield and went to the outside. It was impossible to use soul orbs to communicate in the dimensional battlefield, but there was no such restriction when one left the dimensional battlefield and returned to the world of divine remains. Similarly, Duanling Tian suspected that Zhang Yue was the one who had brought the young woman from the Misty Rain divine sect. On the other hand, the two naive whole clan did not go out to find someone. They only found a helper in the dimensional battlefield. Of course, it was also possible that the two of them did not know anyone other than their own clan members. Clans had a lot of limitations compared to sections. Clans were even more isolated. If it wasn't hidden, we wouldn't have found it. Hodong grinned and seemed a little proud. This secret realm was discovered by him, Holy Inu, Xiaoping, and Zhang Yue. Although the four of them were quite strong, they were not too strong. They could avoid a lot of danger by traveling together in the dimensional battlefield. Many people did that in the dimensional battlefield. Of course, traveling together had its advantages and disadvantages. They also had to be wary of the people around them who might stab them in the back. Among the four of them, Hodong and Holy Inu had been together since the beginning. Zhang Yue and Xiaoping had also been together since the beginning. When the four of them met in pairs and their strengths were similar, they decided to travel together. Xiaoping, deactivate the formation. Hodong looked at Xiaoping and said, the first formation outside was left behind by you. You need to deactivate it yourself. The second formation was left behind by me. I'll deactivate it. The formations were not complicated. There were 4 in total. The 4 of them each had to deactivate one by themselves. They were not very complicated formations, but there was no way out. They could only be deactivated by sacrificing their own blood. Apart from that, no matter how skilled a formation master was, he would not be able to do anything. Sometimes, the simpler something was, the safer it was. The 4 of them stepped forward and deactivated the formations. After the 4 formations were deactivated, a mysterious aura spread throughout the cave. Then, a pitch-black spatial vortex appeared in front of Duan Lingtian and the others. As soon as the spatial vortex appeared, a message appeared in the minds of Duan Lingtian and the others. A natural secret realm discovered by 4 higher god emperors. At most, 10 higher god emperors can enter. If even one person enters, the secret realm will be opened. The secret realm will be open for a month. After a month, all the people in the secret realm will be sent out. They will be sent out of the military camp nearby. When the message appeared in the minds of the 4 of them, they did not react strangely. It was as though they already knew this was how the natural secret realm worked. However, Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised. This was because he had only entered secret realms that were opened with battle merits. Those secret realms that were opened with battle merits would not be sent out of the military camp nearby. Instead, they would be sent to random locations in the realm battlefield. In fact, they might even be sent to the inner region. Those who enter the natural secret realm are given such preferential treatment. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. I didn't hear third senior brother mention this before. Perhaps he didn't know about it? Or perhaps he heard about it from others, but didn't think much of it. After all, he had never encountered it before, and he didn't think I would be able to encounter it. Perhaps he didn't think there was a need to remind me? Now, I wonder how third senior brother is doing. After I separated from him, he should be much more carefree, right? Duan Lingtian knew very well that when he was with his third senior brother in the Xinjiang land and pilgrimage grounds, he was dragging his third senior brother down to a certain extent. Otherwise, his third senior brother would have gone deep into the inner region. I just don't know. If he knew that I'm about to enter the natural secret realm now, what would he think? When he mentioned the natural secret realm earlier, there was a hint of regret in his words. He regretted that he had never entered the natural secret realm before. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian could not help but look forward to it. The next time they met, his third senior brother would definitely be envious of this trip to the natural secret realm, right? However, at this moment, Duan Lingtian did not expect this at all. His third senior brother, Yang Yuqin, was currently in a natural secret realm. That natural secret realm was encountered by Yang Yuqin when he returned to the Xinjiang battlefield after sending Duan Lingtian to the battlefield of the gods' adjudication. He just happened to appear near that natural secret realm. Little junior brother is really my lucky star. Yang Yuqin even said this because he was returning from sending Duan Lingtian to the battlefield of the gods' adjudication and just happened to bump into the entrance of a natural secret realm. One had to know that the entrance to a natural secret realm was something that could only be encountered by chance. Even if he came back at another time, he might not have encountered it. Everything was a coincidence within a coincidence. The natural secret realm that Yang Yuqin encountered could allow 3 medium ultimate gods to enter, so he was not in a hurry to enter. He directly found a nearby military camp and left the battlefield of the dimensions. He returned to the Xinjiang land to take a look and found 2 medium ultimate gods to enter with him. The 2 medium ultimate gods were his few good friends and sworn brothers in the Xinjiang land. One was a rogue cultivator, and the other was from a giant ultimate god-level force. Both of them were very strong, at least not weaker than Yang Yuqin. Of course, they were much older than Yang Yuqin. Third brother, your luck is really good. You actually encountered a natural secret realm. Amazing. The air in this natural secret realm smells different. The 2 people who entered the natural secret realm with Yang Yuqin were both young men. One of them was wearing a light golden robe with a handsome face and sharp eyes. The other was wearing a white robe and holding a folding fan. He looked very scholarly and was dressed like a scholar. These 2 people were not only Yang Yuqin's good friends, they were also Yang Yuqin's sworn brothers. One of them was more than 3,000 years older than Yang Yuqin. The other was more than 1,000 years older than Yang Yuqin. Both of them met in the battlefield of the dimensions when Yang Yuqin was 10,000 years old. At that time, the 3 of them were besieged by experts from another battlefield of the dimensions. They joined forces and put their lives in each other's hands. They trusted each other and luckily survived. After that, the 3 of them became sworn brothers under the suggestion of one of them. As a rogue cultivator, the white-robed young man who usually dressed like a scholar became the big brother because he was older and stronger than Yang Yuqin and the other person at that time. The other golden-robed young man from a giant ultimate god-level force became the second brother. At that time, his strength was not much different from Yang Yuqin's, but because he was older, he took the position of second brother. Yang Yuqin became the third brother of the three. Yang Yuqin didn't reject this. After all, he was the current generation of the 10,000 Laws Palace's inner palace. At that time, he was also ranked third, just like now. This is all thanks to my junior brother. Yang Yuqin trusted his big brother and second brother unconditionally because even after 10,000 years since they became sworn brothers, they had never disappointed him. Many times when he asked them for help, they were very reliable and never sloppy. Time revealed a person's heart. After 10,000 years together, even if they did not see each other often, it did not affect the development of their relationship to the point where it was better than ordinary brothers. Chapter 42:39. Come to think of it, we owe little junior brother a favor. The golden-robed young man from the ultimate god faction in the mystic gangland said with a smile. The white-clad young man nodded in agreement. We'll find a way to repay this favor in the future. Yang Yuqin smiled faintly and did not say anything. He knew his two sworn brothers were very particular people. Even if he said there was no need for favors, they would ignore him. Moreover, he also felt his little junior brother might need this favor in the future. Perhaps it would come in handy. Although his little junior brother came from a lower realm, he still had many enemies in the realms of gods. Just the Mystic Gangland's heavyweight sect, the Monorigin Divine Sect, wanted his little junior brother's life at all times. Although the Monorigin Divine Sect had sent someone to compromise, they would not let his little junior brother live if they had the chance. A dead person was the least threatening. After cultivating for so many years, Yang Yuqin knew this very well. He could guess the Monorigin Divine Sect's intentions. For a sect like the Monorigin Divine Sect, it was common for them to change their orders. After Duanling Tian followed Ho Lianyu and the others into the natural secret realm, what appeared in the next instant was a vast and boundless canyon. Moreover, the canyon was covered in darkness as though it was covered in dark clouds. Heavens! They're all great demons. When Ho Dong's slightly terrified and sharp voice sounded out, Duanling Tian and the others raised their heads to look carefully, and they noticed that it wasn't dark clouds that had gathered above the gorge, but numerous demon beasts with enormous bodies. These demonic beasts originally had their eyes closed. Due to the lack of light, it was impossible to see their forms clearly. But now, they had opened their eyes one after another. Their blood-red eyes appeared somewhat eerie and cold in the dim light of the Great Canyon. At the same time, the sound of heavy breathing entered Duanling Tian and the others' ears. This should be the first obstacle in this natural secret realm, Qiuping said solemnly. Qiuping said with a serious expression, among these great demons, I'm afraid the weakest one is a lower god emperor, or even higher. If the weakest one is a lower god emperor, then this natural secret realm wouldn't be considered a very good one. However, if the weakest one is a middle god emperor, then this natural secret realm would definitely be one of the better ones among the natural secret realms that are suitable for our cultivation. Ho Lianyu, Ho Dong, the half-step ultimate god brought by Ho Dong, and the other half-step ultimate god brought by Qiuping had their eyes lit up. I hope that the weakest of these great demons is a middle divine lord. Ho Dong had already begun to mutter to himself. At this moment, Qiuping added, these greater demons are getting impatient. It won't be a problem for us to deal with the first obstacle. Everyone, attack together and defeat them. No matter how good a natural secret realm is, it's impossible for a half-step ultimate god great demon to appear in the first challenge. At most, there will be one or two great demons that are close to the half-step ultimate god realm. From Qiuping's words, it was obvious that he knew a lot about natural secret realms. Qiuping, have you entered a natural secret realm before? Ho Lianyu asked curiously. No. Qiuping shook his head. Qiuping shook his head. I've only heard about the natural secret realms in the planar battlefield from some of the elders of the Fog Rain Divine Sect. Some of our people have entered the natural secret realms and recorded their experiences. That's why I know a little. Ho Lianyu was enlightened. I thought you were lucky enough to have encountered a natural secret realm before. Qiuping shook his head again. It's not that easy to encounter a natural secret realm. Some of the ancestors in the Misty Rain Divine sect have lived for tens of thousands of years and have entered the planar battlefield several times. They've been in the planar battlefield for thousands of years, but they've never encountered a natural secret realm before. This time, the fact that we've encountered a natural secret realm is already enough to make many people jealous. Xiaoping said, "Let's stop chatting." At this time, Hodong opened his mouth and said impatiently, "Everyone, let's hurry up and defeat this first trial. What nonsense do you have to say? Wait until we get out, then you can talk about it slowly." As soon as Hodong finished speaking, he took the initiative to attack. As soon as he moved, it was earth-shattering. A vast ocean appeared on his body as if it was carrying a monstrous wave. It rose into the air and rolled towards the group of great demons above the canyon. The group of great demons were already restless. Now that Hodong had taken the initiative to attack, they were no longer apprehensive. In the next instant, they let out all sorts of roars and howls, and then they tore through the air and attacked Hodong in unison. Attack! Hodong's imposing manner was like a rainbow, but when he saw the sky full of great demons charging towards him, he could not help but feel a little guilty. His face turned slightly pale as he hastily shouted, "Bang!" The half-step ultimate god that Hodong brought with him moved. Flames raged under his feet as he was lifted into the air by the flames. A moment later, he arrived beside Hodong and attacked the sky full of great demons before Hodong could. Whoosh! The half-step ultimate god was proficient in the law of fire. With just a wave of his sleeve, flames raged and burned a dozen great demons gathered in one direction to ashes. In an instant, a small gap appeared among the hundreds and thousands of great demons. Kill! Hodong's eyes lit up when more than a dozen law rewards fell from the sky and entered the half-step ultimate god's body. He followed suit and attacked. Waves after waves of great demons were forcefully destroyed by his techniques and turned into a bloody mist that was washed away by his law of water in the blink of an eye. The law rewards fell from the sky and entered Hodong's body. "Let's go and kill them too." Xiaoping called out to the people beside him and flew into the air. Zhang Yue glanced at the young lady beside her, and the two of them flew into the air as well. The four of them joined the battle, and the great demons fell one by one. "Elder brother Duan, let's go too." Holianyu originally wanted to wait for Duan Lingtian to make his move. However, after waiting for a long time, he realized that his elder brother was still as calm as before. He could not wait any longer and joined the battle. Duan Lingtian shook his head when he saw this and also flew into the air. He actually did not plan to join the battle. However, now that Holianyu had joined the battle, it would not be good if he did not join the battle. Hence, he followed suit. To be honest, he was not interested in the law rewards for killing these Emperor God Realm demons. Moreover, there were not many Upper God Realm demons in this group of great demons. Most of them were Middle God Realm demons. The law rewards were even more useless to him. After joining the battle, Duan Lingtian saw the flames on the half-step ultimate gods that Hodong found. Every time he attacked, the flames would burn the great demons to ashes. He was excited and the flames on his body grew stronger. The law of fire. After so many years, Duan Lingtian felt that it was a long time ago when he used the law of fire in an actual battle again. Bang! He threw out a punch and the flames surged, wreaking havoc in the air. In the blink of an eye, a Middle God Realm demon exploded. Not good enough. Duan Lingtian shook his head and attacked again. The flames that were wreaking havoc surged again. This time, Duan Lingtian tried to integrate the law of fire into the law of fire. The law of fire was immediately enhanced by the law of fire. Bang! Another attack. This time, it was even stronger. It killed a few Middle God Realm demons. Hodong, who initially scoffed at Duan Lingtian's strength when he saw that Duan Lingtian's strength was not weaker than his, could not help but frown when he saw that Duan Lingtian's strength was not weaker than his. He originally wanted to mock Holianyu's helper for being powerful, but he did not say anything. Although the other party was not a half-step ultimate god, his strength was not weaker than Holianyu and himself. He was qualified to explore this natural secret realm with them. At that moment, Hodong was not the only one paying attention to Duan Lingtian. Even the others were paying attention to Duan Lingtian. They were also curious about the strength of Ho Lianyu's helper. If he was strong, they would inevitably have one more competitor when they encountered treasures later on. Now that they saw that Duan Lingtian's strength was only so-so, they were instantly relieved. Elder brother Duan, Ho Lianyu also took the time to look at Duan Lingtian. When she saw that Duan Lingtian's fire law was also so powerful, she could not help but be shocked. Elder brother Duan's fire law is not weaker than mine? He knew that his elder brother Duan was not an expert in the fire law, but the space law. Earlier, he saw with his own eyes that his elder brother Duan instantly killed a half-step ultimate god from the land of sanctions who was not much weaker than him. However, he did not point it out. He was not an idiot. At that moment, he could not help but guess that elder brother Duan was pretending to be weak and only showed his true strength at the crucial moment. Hodong, Qiuping, and the two half-step ultimate gods they brought along did not seem to care when they saw elder brother Duan. This must be elder brother Duan's plan. Duan Lingtian did not know what Ho Lianyu was thinking at that moment. Otherwise, he would have been speechless. He did not use the space law but the fire law. It was just a spur-of-the-moment joke. As for pretending to be weak, was that necessary? If he really went all out, everyone present, including Ho Lianyu, would not be a match for him even if they all joined forces. Zhang Yue's helper. Soon, Ho Lianyu's gaze also landed on Zhang Yue's helper, the young woman with a veil on her face. She killed one greater demon after another with each attack, and the strength she displayed was on par with him. Hodong, Qiuping, and Zhang Yue. They were all close to a half-step ultimate god, but not at the level of a half-step ultimate god. Could she be hiding her strength on purpose? When Ho Lianyu thought about how her big brother Duan was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, she could not help but start to scheme in her heart. However, the others obviously did not think so. Even Hodong had a look of disdain in his eyes when he saw the veiled woman's attack. Chapter 42-40. In the canyon, the first stage of the natural secret realm posed no difficulty to Duan Lingtian and the others. Not only that, but Duan Lingtian was merely a bystander at the side. With just a few words, the group of people had already defeated the group of great demons that was originally a magnificent sight in the sky above the canyon. Once the group of great demons was killed, the rewards would be given independently. However, that was the limit of the first stage's rewards. There were no additional rewards. Additional rewards rarely appear in the earlier stages. In fact, in some natural secret realms, additional rewards will only appear in the last few stages, or even the last stage. Qiuping from the Misty Rain Divine sect in the Divine Offering Land spoke again, as though he was trying to show off his knowledge. The reason Duan Lingtian felt that he was trying to show off his knowledge was because he noticed that every time Qiuping spoke, he would glance at Zhang Yue from the corner of his eyes. It wasn't difficult for Duan Lingtian to guess what Qiuping was trying to do. He was definitely trying to attract Zhang Yue's attention and make her admire him. Duan Lingtian knew that Zhang Yue had a high status in the Misty Rain Divine sect. Coupled with her good looks, it was normal for an ordinary Misty Rain Divine sect disciple like Qiuping to pursue her. However, I'm afraid Qiuping's efforts are destined to be in vain. Duan Lingtian was an outsider, so it wasn't difficult for him to see that Zhang Yue didn't seem to like Qiuping. Even when Qiuping took the initiative to talk to her, it was mostly perfunctory. In fact, there were a few times when Qiuping intentionally approached her, but she evaded him subtly. At the same time, a trace of disgust flashed in the depths of her eyes. After the first stage, the next few stages were slightly more difficult, but they weren't a threat to the group. Duan Lingtian continued to be a bystander. As for the veiled woman beside Zhang Yue, she didn't put on a stunning performance either. It was Hodong and Qiuping who had brought along the two half-step deity tribe members to sweep the area. They were domineering and arrogant. During this process, Hodong even took the time to mock Ho Lianyu. Even though he didn't mention her name, the meaning behind his words was none other than that Ho Lianyu had found a useless helper. Regarding this, Duan Lingtian was not angry, but indifferent. Ho Lianyu, on the other hand, couldn't keep her cool a few times. If it weren't for the fact that Duan Lingtian seemed to be fine, she would have exploded long ago. The 8th checkpoint. Qiuping spoke again when the two half-step ultimate gods were having a hard time. Based on the current situation and the difficulty of the previous 7 stages, the 8th stage might have an extra reward. I just don't know what the extra reward is. But what we can be sure of is that it's definitely something useful to us high-level god emperors. As Qiuping spoke, Duan Lingtian and the others encountered the 8th obstacle in the canyon. The previous 7 obstacles were all in the same canyon. Great demons kept appearing. Occasionally, some human experts would appear. These human experts were from the land of sanctions and were all arranged by the supreme experts. These people from the sanctioned lands had all accidentally stumbled into dangerous places in the planar battlefield. Then, they encountered spatial distortions or something and were sucked into the mystic realm by the means left behind by the ultimate powerhouses. They were now the opponents of the mystic realm and also the gatekeepers of the mystic realm. Only by killing them could one pass the trial. As for these people, they were all very unlucky. If they were not a match for the challengers, they would not be able to escape death. Even if they were able to defeat or even kill the challengers, they would not be able to replace the challengers. They would only be teleported out of the secret realm. Although they could escape alive, they couldn't get any benefits. Of course, it wasn't that they couldn't get any benefits. The reward for killing the gatekeepers was still substantial. When people from the land of divine remains entered the secret territory, only people from the land of sanctions would appear as gatekeepers. When people from the land of sanctions entered the secret territory, only people from the land of divine remains would appear as gatekeepers. What is this place? Where are we? Under the gaze of Duan Lingtian and the others, a spatial vortex suddenly appeared in the sky above the canyon. Then, 5 figures appeared one after another. Obviously, these 5 people didn't know each other. After they appeared one after another, they retreated vigilantly. When they came back to their senses and saw Duan Lingtian and the others below, they suddenly realized something. We've been sent into the secret territory as gatekeepers of the Xinjiang land. We have to work together to deal with them, kill them, get the reward and escape. We have to work together. Otherwise, we'll only be defeated one by one. How's your strength? I'm good at the law of space and my strength is close to that of a half-step ultimate god. My strength is close to that of a half-step ultimate god, and I'm good at the law of water. I'm a half-step ultimate god, and I'm good at the law of destruction. When the 5 people from the land of sanctions realized they had been teleported into the secret territory as gatekeepers, they quickly reached a consensus and gathered together. The 5 of them formed a circle with their backs facing each other. At this time, they were no longer wary of each other because there was no need to be wary. If any of them had second thoughts, not only would they get others killed, they wouldn't be able to live either. One had to know that those who could become gatekeepers in the secret territory had passed all the previous stages. Now that it was their turn, even if they couldn't pass, they were definitely not weak. Moreover, there was a certain probability that they were stronger than them. Under such circumstances, the other party had swept through all the previous stages. The 5 of them communicated through voice transmission, so they knew each other's strength. However, the gatekeepers, Duan Lingtian and the others, did not know. The only thing they knew was that these 5 people were not great demons left behind by the ultimate experts in the secret territory. They were people from the land of sanctions who were teleported from other places. Like them, these people entered the battlefield in search of opportunities and breakthroughs. This could be seen just by looking at the green light on their bodies. Among the 5 of us, only I'm a half-step ultimate god. This means that they probably didn't encounter any half-step ultimate gods before. At this time, the only half-step ultimate god among the 5 from the land of sanctions said to the other 5 through voice transmission, "When we fight later, I'll hide my strength first while you guys go all out. I'll purposely show that I'm weaker than you guys so that they won't notice me." I suspect that the other party is a half-step ultimate god. If it's only one of them, I'll be responsible for a surprise attack. That way, we can take them down one by one and smoothly kill them to escape. Hearing this person's words, the other 4's eyes lit up at the same time. Okay, I'll cooperate with you. Everyone is trying to survive. I support your plan. This is the safest way. It's worth it to get hurt in the front. I think so too. The other four quickly agreed. No one doubted or hesitated. This was the best way for them. If the other party was also a half-step ultimate god, they might not be able to defeat them in the end if they went all out without holding back. Hiding a half-step ultimate god as a trump card meant that even if they were at a disadvantage in the beginning, they still had a chance to turn the situation around at the critical moment. The other party was no weakling since they could wait for them. That's settled then. The half-step ultimate god from the land of sanctions heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. Fortunately, the other four were not idiots. Of course, there's another possibility. At the same time, the half-step ultimate god felt that it was necessary to give the other four a heads up. That is, they have two half-step ultimate gods. In that case, we might not be able to survive even if we kill one of them. Of course, as long as we persevere, we still have a chance to survive. After all, according to the Secret Realm's rules, if we can't pass within 95 minutes, we'll have failed. At that time, all of us will be able to survive. Hearing this, the other four's faces turned solemn. If they have 3 half-step ultimate gods, or even more half-step ultimate gods, then we're doomed. If that's the case, we'll still benefit from killing one half-step ultimate god, the half-step ultimate god said. For a moment, the other four's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. They knew that they had no way out. They could only fight. Either they die or they live. Fight. It's the guardians of the land of sanctions. Kill them. Among Duan Ling Tian's group, Ho Dong was still the first to make a move. He unleashed his energy, and the half-step ultimate gods by his side followed suit. Kill them. Xiao Ping also moved along with the half-step ultimate gods beside him. In the next moment, Hou Lianyu and Jiang Yue also moved. Duan Lingtian and the Veiled Lady were the last to follow. During this process, the Veiled Lady glanced at Duan Lingtian. Although it was not obvious, Duan Lingtian clearly felt it. However, he did not look at her and pretended not to see it. From the beginning until now, he had a feeling that the Veiled Lady's true strength was not that simple. After all, she was Jiang Yue's external aid. Generally speaking, Jiang Yue's first choice for external aid would be a half-step ultimate god. It would be useless to bring in someone who was too weak. Of course, there was another possibility, that was, the other party was very close to Jiang Yue. Therefore, Jiang Yue was willing to bring her in even if she was not a half-step ultimate god. However, the problem was, if she was really close to Jiang Yue, she would most likely not want Jiang Yue to give such a good opportunity to her. She would think that it would be more beneficial for Jiang Yue if a half-step ultimate god came in with her. After all, as good friends, she would definitely think of the other party more. Of course, there was also the possibility that Jiang Yue would be stubborn under such circumstances. However, no matter what, Duan Ling Tian did not take it seriously. In his opinion, even if the other party was stronger than a half-step ultimate god, she would not be a threat to him. Chapter 42-41. When Duan Lingtian and the Veiled Lady moved, Ho Dong, Xiao Ping, and the other 2 half-step ultimate gods had already started fighting with the 5 opponents. The 5 of them also started fighting with the 5 opponents at the same time. All of them were half-step ultimate gods. None of them were half-step ultimate gods. No half-step ultimate gods. Kill them all. Ho Dong roared again. His aura was even stronger than before. The last bit of worry in his heart was gone at this moment. He was fearless. What was there to be worried about when there were no half-step ultimate gods? He was worried that a half-step ultimate god would appear in this checkpoint. That was why he kept a low profile in the beginning. He deliberately approached the half-step ultimate gods that he found to help him. Now that there were no half-step ultimate gods, he was no longer afraid and completely let loose. Xiao Ping and the other 2 half-step ultimate gods also smiled. No half-step ultimate gods were a threat to them. They could just kill them all. At this moment, Jiang Yue and Hou Lianyu slowed down a little. They felt that the 4 people in front of them were enough to deal with the 5 people from the land of sanctions. Even Duan Lingtian and the Veiled Lady subconsciously slowed down when they saw Jiang Yue and Hou Lianyu slowing down. However, when the 4 of them were facing off against the 5 opponents, it was obvious that they were suppressing them. Duan Ling Tian's eyes suddenly focused, and his gaze locked onto the person with the weakest strength among the 5 people in the land of sanctions. He felt that there was something strange about that person. Although he seemed to be the weakest and the other 4 were taking care of him, his eyes were overlooking the entire battlefield. It was as if he was the weakest person and the core of the 5 from the land of sanctions. The veiled lady also stared at that person after a while. Obviously, she also noticed something strange. In the next moment, the person who was stared at by them seemed to be deliberately approaching the half-step ultimate god that Ho Dong found. The moment he got close, he suddenly exploded. Bang! A terrifying destructive energy filled the air as a giant hammer flew across the sky and heavily smashed towards the half-step ultimate god who was chasing after another person from the punishment land. Ho Dong's half-step ultimate god reinforcements did not pay any attention to the sanctioned land expert who was still some distance away from him. In his opinion, the sanctioned land expert was the weakest among the 5. His pursuers were far stronger than the sanctioned land expert. Never in his wildest dreams could he have imagined that this seemingly weak young man would suddenly erupt with power that was no weaker than his own. Furthermore, his divine item hammer was also descending, imbued with the power of his bloodline, making it look like the hammer of the thunder god. Help me! Ho Dong's half-step ultimate god helper also sensed a life-threatening crisis. He roared and hurriedly turned around to face the incoming attack head-on. However, his movements were still too slow. The others didn't even have time to react. Bang! Another loud bang was heard as the giant hammer imbued with bloodline aura and destructive energy landed on the half-step ultimate god's body. The half-step ultimate god's hastily mobilized attack was instantly destroyed and his entire body exploded. Whoosh! A small rain of blood drifted in the air and swept across the faces of Ho Dong, Qiuping, and the half-step ultimate god helper that Qiuping found. A half-step ultimate god had fallen just like that. How is this possible? Ho Dong's expression changed drastically. He never expected there to be a half-step ultimate god among the 5 from the sanctioned land. He would have lived for so many years in vain if he still didn't know that his opponent was holding back. Kill them! At the same time, the other 4 half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned land attacked Ho Dong and Qiuping before Duan Lingtian and the other 2 arrived. The 2 of them were on par with them in terms of strength. For against 2, they had the absolute advantage. As for the half-step ultimate god helper that Qiuping found, he had also set his eyes on the half-step ultimate god helper from the sanctioned land. Zhang Yue, holy in you, come quickly. Ho Dong roared again. At the same time, he was a little anxious. He did not dare to face the 4 of them head-on and immediately retreated. Qiuping did the same and also retreated in a hurry. The 2 of them looked a little embarrassed at that moment. They've really hidden it well. Zhang Yue's eyes flashed with a glimmer of light, but she did not move immediately. Hou Yanyu wanted to move, but was stopped by Duan Lingtian. Don't rush. Zhang Yue is moving, so you should move first. Hou Yanyu was puzzled at first, but when he noticed that Zhang Yue was not moving, he could not help but frown. In the next moment, he seemed to have thought of something and his face became solemn. Zhang Yue did it on purpose. She wanted to hurt Ho Dong and Qiuping a little. She had selfish motives. Of course, who didn't have selfish motives? Hou Yanyu didn't? Impossible. He did not have a good relationship with Ho Dong. As for Qiuping, he was a stranger to the people of Misty Rain sect. There was no need for him to help them when Zhang Yue was not moving. If Zhang Yue did not move, he, Ho Dong, and Qiuping would not be a match for the 4 of them unless his elder brother Duan came to help. It was inevitable that they would be injured. The 4 of them chased after Qiuping and Ho Dong. The 2 of them were hit in the blink of an eye and blood spurted out from their mouths. At that moment, Zhang Yue finally moved. Hou Yanyu moved as well. Duan Lingtian and the veiled lady followed closely behind. Then, Duan Lingtian used the law of fire and joined forces with the other 3. In addition to Ho Dong and Qiuping who were injured but could still fight, they had the upper hand against the 4 from the land of punishment. They had completely suppressed their opponents. I'm sorry. I was a little distracted because I was shocked by the fact that they were half-step ultimate gods. Hou Yanyu said apologetically. Jiang Yue, who was about to say something, frowned slightly when Hou Lianyu spoke first. She then said, "Me too. I didn't expect there to be a half-step ultimate god among the five of them." Jiang Yue was a little puzzled at that moment. Why did Hou Lianyu suddenly become smarter? After all, when he, Qiu Ping, Hou Lianyu, and Hou Dong had traveled through the Divine Judgment battlefield together, he had a certain understanding of Hou Lianyu. He knew that although Hou Lianyu was calm and rational most of the time, he appeared to be dull and inarticulate. He did not seem like a slippery person at all. However, he seemed to be a different person now. Is it because of the external aid he found? Jiang Yue guessed. In fact, she had guessed correctly. Duan Lingtian had sent a voice transmission to Hou Lianyu and asked him to say that because Hou Dong and Qiu Ping would definitely hold him accountable if he knew about this matter. After all, Hou Lianyu and Jiang Yue had hesitated earlier. It was because of their hesitation that the two of them were injured. Hou Lianyu spoke first, which meant that the situation was completely different from Jiang Yue, who spoke first. If Jiang Yue spoke first, Hou Dong and Qiu Ping would definitely blame Hou Lianyu. Hou Lianyu spoke first. With Jiang Yue at the bottom, Qiu Ping would definitely not blame Jiang Yue. On the other hand, Hou Dong was afraid of the two from the Misty Rain Divine sect who were united. In addition, the external aid he found was dead. Therefore, he would definitely not say anything. As such, this matter was over. The four from the Land of Sanctions were defeated by the four existences who were close to half-step ultimate god's battle strength, and the furious Hou Dong and Qiu Ping who were injured. They wanted to ask the only half-step ultimate god among them to help them, but the half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found was pinned down by the external aid and could not escape. In this kind of situation, they fought until the end and were somewhat in despair. In the end, the four of them died one after another at the hands of Duan Lingtian and the others. The moment the four of them fell into despair, they were destined to lose because they no longer had the will to fight and could no longer maintain their high-intensity battle stance. With the four of them dead, Duan Lingtian and the others joined the battle between the two half-step ultimate gods. Although the six of them only had the battle strength of a half-step ultimate god, the addition of this force still turned the tide of the battle. The half-step ultimate god from the Land of Sanctions even lost his will to fight after a while. In the end, he was killed by the half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found. The 8th checkpoint had been broken through. We passed. Hou Lianyu was overjoyed, while Qiu Ping and Jiang Yue were also smiling. Only Hou Dong's expression did not look too good. After all, he was the one who lost the most this time. The external aid he found, a powerful half-step ultimate god, died in the 8th challenge just like that. It also meant that he no longer had the ability to compete with the others for treasures. He could only follow behind them and drink the soup. Hou Dong took a deep breath and looked at Jiang Yue, Qiu Ping, and Hou Lianyu. He transmitted his voice to Hou Lianyu. Hou Lianyu, although we don't get along well, we must stick together now. The Misty Rain's sex strength has completely overshadowed ours. However, Hou Lianyu sneered when she heard Hou Dong's voice transmission. She did not transmit her voice and said, "Hou Dong, now that your external aid is dead, you want to work with me? How can there be such a good thing? I'm not interested in working with you." Hou Lianyu rejected Hou Dong right away, which made Hou Dong's expression turn ugly. If it was not for the fact that he could not leave the secret realm, Hou Dong would have chosen to leave on his own. Based on the current situation, not only would he not be able to reap any benefits, but his life would also be in danger. In addition, he was also puzzled. Why did Hou Lianyu suddenly become so stubborn? There's an additional reward. Suddenly, the half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found spoke. As soon as he finished speaking, Duan Lingtian and the others followed his gaze as well. At that moment, after the reward for killing the half-step ultimate god from the Land of Sanctions faded, a ray of light fell from the sky along with a divine pill. The moment the divine pill entered their eyes, its alluring pill fragrance filled the entire canyon. At that moment, everyone's eyes lit up except for Duan Lingtian. Chapter 42-42. The reason why Duan Lingtian was so calm was because of the pill's fragrance. It could only be considered an ordinary emperor-level divine pill. Of course, it was considered a rare item, but it was not of much use to him. Compared to the heavenly Tao fruit he had obtained in the divine trials, it was far inferior. In fact, as long as he had enough herbs, he could refine this emperor-level divine pill. There was even a chance that he could refine it into an ultimate divine pill, Emperor Pedestal Pill. This emperor-level divine pill was called the Emperor Pedestal Pill. If a person who had just entered the upper god the arch level consumed it, they would be able to quickly consolidate their cultivation. The effect was not bad, but that was it. Furthermore, after consuming one Emperor Pedestal Pill, consuming a second one would also lose its effect. Even if one consumed an ordinary Emperor Pedestal Pill and wanted to consume a second ultimate Emperor Pedestal Pill, the latter would not be able to do anything. Thus, even if this Emperor Pedestal Pill could be used by his friends and family, Duan Lingtian was not interested. In the future, he would have a greater chance of refining an ultimate Emperor Pedestal Pill. Although it was very difficult for him to gather the herbs needed to refine the Emperor Pedestal Pill now, because the herbs needed to refine the Emperor Pedestal Pill were extremely rare. Even a powerful ultimate god faction would have to rely on luck to obtain them. Perhaps only a powerful ultimate god faction could casually take them out. Although it was difficult for him to gather the herbs now, what about in the future? He did not think that the herbs needed to refine the Emperor Pedestal Pill would be difficult for him in the future. Because of that, he had no interest in the Emperor Pedestal Pill now. It is all thanks to Brother Shen that we were able to pass this hurdle. This Emperor Pedestal Pill will belong to him. Does anyone have any objections? When everyone's eyes lit up, Xiaoping quickly retracted his gaze and suggested with a smile. Instantly, the eyes of the half-step ultimate gods beside Xiaoping lit up. As for the others, although Hodong was unwilling, he did not say anything. If the half-step ultimate god he had found was still alive, they might be able to compete for it. But now, what could they compete with? When Jiang Yue heard this, she exchanged glances with the veiled woman beside her. After the veiled woman gently shook her head, Jiang Yue did not say anything. On the other hand, Hou Yanyu looked a little reluctant, but seeing that Jiang Yue didn't say anything, and even Duan Lingtian behind her didn't say anything, she didn't say anything either. Since no one has any objections, Brother Shen, please keep the Emperor Transcendence Pill. Xiaoping looked at the half-step ultimate god next to him and said with a smile, "All right." The latter smiled and nodded his head in response, after which he immediately took action and collected the Emperor Grade Pill that fell from the sky. Although the Emperor Supreme Pellet is of no use to us, it is a precious treasure to those who have just entered the upper-level God Emperor realm and have yet to stabilize their cultivation. Xiaoping continued, "Brother Shen, if you take this divine pill, you can give it to your family, friends, or even disciples. Even if I can't use it, I can still exchange it for a treasure." However, Xiaoping's words were destined to be nonsense. This was because everyone else recognized the Emperor Supreme Pellet. We have passed the 8th level, and the 9th level is coming soon. If there are no surprises, the 9th level will be the second to last level. Xiaoping's expression turned serious. If there are no surprises, the 9th level will be even more difficult. In fact, there might even be 2 half-step ultimate gods. If the next guardian is a great demon, it will be fine. Even a half-step ultimate god great demon is not as strong as a human half-step ultimate god. If it is someone from the Sanctioned Land, we will leave the secret realm. If we can't win, we will leave. There is no need to fight to the death with them. In the dimensional battlefield, whether it was a natural secret realm or not, as long as everyone agreed to leave the secret realm would forcibly send them out. This was why many people liked to enter secret realms in groups. It didn't matter if it was a secret realm like this, or a secret realm that required a change of location. If they could win, they would win. If they couldn't win, they would run. This way, they would be absolutely safe. However, everyone had to reach an agreement. Otherwise, even if only one person disagreed, the others would not be able to leave. Of course, dead people did not count. Dead people had no right to speak and could not speak. Because of this, many times, if someone deliberately caused trouble and refused to leave at the crucial moment, they would become a thorn in the eyes of others and be besieged by others. Does anyone have any objections? Xiaoping glanced at everyone after he finished speaking. Everyone heard him and did not say anything. Obviously, they agreed with Qiu Ping's words, including the half-step ultimate god beside Qiu Ping. Although he was strong, he was not a fool. He would not do something that would cost him his life. Furthermore, this time, he had gained the most out of all of them. He did not lose anything even if he left the secret realm. In fact, compared to the other half-step ultimate god who had died, he had gained a lot. Until now, every time he thought of that person's death, he could not help but secretly break out in cold sweat. He was glad that he was targeted and not himself. Otherwise, the one who would be smiling now would be the other party and not him. Elder Brother Duan. At this time, Holianyu transmitted his voice to Duan Lingtian. If Qiu Ping's people are unreliable in the next checkpoint, I'm afraid we'll have to rely on you. Holianyu knew. Up until now, this big brother Duan of his had only been a bystander and had not given his all. As for the reason, he understood it now. Hiding and preserving his strength. Only in the end would he unleash his full strength. At that time, even the half-step ultimate gods that Qiu Ping found might not be able to compete with his elder brother Duan when they encountered treasures. That was because his elder brother Duan had been preserving his strength. If it really came to a critical moment, how much strength would the half-step ultimate gods that Qiu Ping found be left? As for Jiang Yue, unless the veiled woman was also hiding her strength, she would not be able to compete with his elder brother Duan. In addition, he always felt that his elder brother Duan might not be an ordinary half-step ultimate god. Previously, he had seen his big brother Duan kill a high-level god emperor who was no weaker than him in a single move. This was not something an ordinary high-level god emperor could do. At least, the half-step ultimate gods that Qiu Ping found could not do that. Even the half-step ultimate gods that Ho Dong found could not do that. We'll see when the time comes. When Duan Ling Tian heard Holianyu's voice transmission, his tone was neither hurried nor slow. It was as though he was never in a hurry. You're right, there's no need to rush. At this time, Holianyu added, perhaps the veiled woman beside Jiang Yue is also hiding her strength. Elder brother Duan, if it really comes to a critical moment, do you think she'll make a move? It's best if she makes a move first. Duan Lingtian was a little surprised when he heard Holianyu's words. He did not expect this kid to be so smart as to think that the veiled woman beside Jiang Yue was not simple. While Duan Lingtian and the others were waiting in anticipation, the wind and clouds above the canyon moved and a bigger spatial vortex appeared. Qiu Ping's expression changed when he saw the spatial vortex. Damn it, it's the people from the land of punishment again. So far, all the checkpoints in the canyon where spatial whirlpools appeared were basically all human powerhouses from the sanctioned lands. Those great demons did not have a spatial vortex when they appeared. They all fell from the sky as if they appeared out of thin air. Whoosh! The half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found had a solemn expression. He stepped into the air and directly attacked the spatial vortex. However, no matter how powerful his attacks were, the spatial vortex still spun faster and faster. It felt like the vortex was spinning faster because of his attacks. The half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found hurriedly retreated when he sensed the life energy coming from the spatial vortex. It's useless. Qiu Ping regained his senses and shook his head. There's no way to stop the spatial vortex once it appears. If you attack it, it will absorb your energy and speed up the opening of the spatial door. Let's wait and see if the people from the land of punishment are strong or not. If they are, we'll retreat. Also, they might be hiding their strength this time. So, don't rush in alone this time. It's best to wait for them to come, Qiu Ping suggested. After a while, a few figures gradually broke through the spatial vortex and entered the canyon. There were a total of 7 people. There were 2 more people than the previous time. 7 people, the same number as Duan Lingtian's group. As for the 7 human powerhouses who had entered the secret realm and acted as the gatekeepers of the 9th checkpoint, after a brief moment of panic, they calmed down. Damn it, we're the gatekeepers of the secret territory again. A middle-aged burly man with a face full of curses cursed. As for the other 6 people, their expressions were grave at this moment. The depths of their eyes were filled with vigilance. What's your strength? At this moment, Someone immediately sent a voice transmission to the bearded man. Based on the current situation, it's better for everyone to confirm their strength so that we can cooperate. 7 against 7. We may not lose to them. However, it's best if we can win with the least amount of effort. The bearded man's face turned solemn after hearing the voice transmission. He no longer cursed as he replied, "My strength is close to that of a half-step ultimate god. However, if I'm given a few breaths of time to gather my strength, I'll be able to severely injure or even kill a half-step ultimate god when he's not looking at me. My bloodline power is a little special." The eyes of the person who asked the question lit up when he heard the bearded man's words. He was a half-step ultimate god himself. Now, there was another person who could seriously injure or even kill a half-step ultimate god. How's your strength? I'm a half-step ultimate god and I specialize in the law of gold. The half-step ultimate god from the land of punishment asked the other 5 through voice transmission. Chapter 42-43. The half-step ultimate god from the land of sanctions asked the other 5 and soon found out that one of them was a half-step ultimate god while the other 4 were very close to the half-step ultimate god realm. Then, he began to contact the others and began to plan how to best deal with the 7 challengers from the world of divine remains. Going head-on was a reckless move. Have you noticed? The leading half-step ultimate god from the land of divine remains said to the other 6 through voice transmission. Among the 7 challengers from the divine remains land, 6 of them are standing together in 3 groups. Only one of them is alone. Normally speaking, secret realms opened by battle merits are usually separated from each other. It's rare to see people standing in close groups, unless it's a natural secret realm. A natural secret realm that invites people to enter. I suspect that either all 7 of them discovered the secret realm together or all 4 of them discovered the secret realm together and each of them found a helper. The reason there are only 7 of them is because one of their helpers died. The reason why we made such a guess is because when that lone man looked at us, his eyes were filled with fear. He even looked timid and retreating. He's obviously not confident. The other 6 people followed his gaze and found the same problem. Your Excellency, your observation is indeed meticulous. I'm impressed. I'll cooperate with whatever you ask me to do next. Your Excellency is amazing to see through this person's cowardice at a glance. In addition, I also noticed that the other 2 didn't look very confident. I think there's a high probability that one of them died just now. Otherwise, they wouldn't be like this. No matter what, it's better to be careful. We'll listen to your Excellency's orders. Among the 7 people, only 2 of them were half-step ultimate gods. Therefore, the others were very respectful to the leading half-step ultimate god and addressed him as your Excellency. The leading half-step ultimate god did not disappoint the others and quickly came up with a plan similar to the previous group of people from the land of sanctions, to hide their true strength. However, he guessed that the 2 half-step ultimate gods that appeared this time were most likely from the previous group of half-step ultimate gods. Therefore, a half-step ultimate god had to be involved this time. The other party would not doubt the 2 half-step ultimate gods. Of course, it would be a good thing for them if they chose to retreat after seeing that they had 2 half-step ultimate gods. It would mean that they would not have to die in the secret realm. Although they couldn't even get the benefits of the rules, to them, this was already a blessing in disguise. In the planar battlefield, how many people mistakenly entered danger zones and became gatekeepers of secret realms, only to be killed by challengers of the secret realms? It was already good enough to be able to survive such a thing. Let's attack together and test them. Xiaoping's voice echoed in the ears of Duan Lingtian and the others. Xiaoping and his half-step ultimate gods were the first to move. At the same time, Zhang Yue, Holianyu, and Ho Dong also moved, while Duan Lingtian and the Veiled Woman followed behind them and moved out to meet the 7 gatekeepers from the Sanction Grounds. As the crowd soared into the sky, the battle between the guardians of the Sanctioned Grounds finally broke out. 2 of the 7 gatekeepers from the Sanctioned Grounds attacked the half-step ultimate god beside Xiaoping. The half-step ultimate god's expression changed drastically. 2 half-step ultimate gods. Let's go out. In the next moment, an illusory door loomed above his head. It was the sign of the challengers voting to leave the secret realm. It was also considered a strange phenomenon. However, it only existed in the secret realm. At the same time, an illusory door also appeared above Qiu Ping and Ho Dong's heads. Only Duan Lingtian, Hou Linyu, Zhang Yue, and the Veiled Woman did not have an illusory door above their heads. Obviously, they had not reached a consensus. Stop daydreaming. Let's get out of here. Ho Dong roared at Duan Lingtian and the others while fighting against a half-step ultimate god from the sanctioned grounds. He urged them to vote as well. As long as all of them passed, they would immediately leave the secret realm. However, Duan Lingtian and the others did not pay attention to Ho Dong at that moment. In fact, when the people from the Land of Sanctions didn't take the initiative to attack them, the two of them looked at each other. Duan Lingtian and Hou Linyu glanced at Zhang Yue and the Veiled Woman. The other party was also looking at them. Do you have a death wish? The half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found was fighting against two half-step ultimate gods at the same time. He was not injured because he had been running away. At this moment, he looked at Duan Lingtian and the others who seemed to be in a daze. He was so anxious that he almost went crazy. Junior sister Yue. Qiu Ping couldn't hold on any longer. Right now, he and Ho Dong were surrounded by 4 people. Although none of the 4 people were stronger than him and Ho Dong, the other side had the advantage in numbers. Hee, go to hell. At this time, another high-level god emperor who was close to a half-step ultimate god, who had been hiding in the path of the half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping had found, chuckled and unleashed his full power. The terrifying bloodline power wrapped around a saber light. The saber light turned into a blood moon as it swept across the void towards the half-step ultimate god reinforcements that Qiu Ping had brought. No, the half-step ultimate god Shin's face changed when he sensed the power of the blade. His first thought was, how could there be a third half-step ultimate god? That was because only a half-step ultimate god could perform such a powerful attack. I can't accept this. In the next moment, the half-step ultimate god Shin unleashed a full-powered attack and blocked the saber light. While the attacker was injured, the half-step ultimate god Shin was forced to squat on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. At the same time, the other 2 half-step ultimate gods who were chasing him arrived and attacked at the same time. 2 waves of energy swept across the sky and enveloped the half-step ultimate god and killed him. After the half-step ultimate god that Ho Dong found was killed, the half-step ultimate god that Qiu Ping found was also killed. What are you all doing? Ho Dong's face instantly turned pale when he saw the death of the half-step ultimate god Shin from the corner of his eyes. 3 half-step ultimate gods. Are you waiting to die if you don't come with us? Kill them. The 7 half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned grounds were smiling after killing the half-step ultimate god Shin. It was as if they could see the dawn of victory and even felt that victory was theirs, although they did not know why the other 4 did not choose to run away. It also gave them a chance to kill them. It was a good thing. In the next moment, Duan Lingtian, who was behind Hou Linyu, and the Veiled Lady behind Zhang Yue attacked at the same time. Duan Lingtian's spatial confinement had locked down the half-step ultimate god who attacked. It was not difficult for him to see that the half-step ultimate god's strength was not yet at the half-step ultimate god realm. Otherwise, his defense would not have been so weak. In addition, he could also see that the half-step ultimate god's attack was more of a bloodline power explosion. Save me. He's a half-step ultimate god. The half-step ultimate god who attacked was trapped by Duan Lingtian's spatial confinement. He could not break through the spatial confinement no matter how hard he tried. His expression changed when he felt the spatial windstorm raging in the surrounding space. At the same time, the Veiled Lady also went up against the 2 half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned grounds. She was able to stop both of them by herself. Moreover, she was able to fight both of them at the same time. She was obviously stronger than the half-step ultimate god Shin that Qiu Ping found. Whoosh! Whoosh! At the same time, Hou Linyu and Zhang Yue joined Ho Dong and Qiu Ping's battle and helped them share half of the pressure. Originally, the 2 of them could barely hold on against 4 people at once. Now, even though they had used up a lot of energy and were still under pressure in a one-on-one battle, they were still much stronger than before. They even had time to observe the battle around them. When they saw that Duan Ling Tian had locked down the half-step ultimate god from the sanctioned grounds and killed the half-step ultimate godshin in the blink of an eye, their pupils constricted. The purple-robed young man was a half-step ultimate god. He was most proficient in the law of space, not the law of fire. He was too strong. With just one spatial confinement, a spatial windstorm raged and killed the half-step ultimate godshin without making any big moves. This kind of strength was definitely not weaker than the reinforcements they found. In fact, it was even stronger. On the other side, the veiled woman that Jiang Yue had found, whom they had originally underestimated, no longer used the power of the law when she attacked. She used a different law of space. Her law of water rippled as she fought against the two half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned grounds alone. Damn it! At this moment, Ho Dong was cursing in his heart. He was cursing Ho Lianyu for finding a half-step ultimate god and playing the pig to eat the tiger. This was definitely intentional. It was intentional. Of course, although he was dissatisfied, he did not dare to show it. Now, he still had to rely on the other party to survive. It would not be worth it if he got killed because of the other party's anger. Therefore, Ho Dong could only complain to Ho Lianyu through voice transmission. Ho Lianyu, I didn't expect you to be so cunning at such a critical moment. Of course, he was just complaining and did not go too far. He did not say anything like, "Why didn't you ask your reinforcements to go all out earlier so that the reinforcements I found would not have died?" Although that was what he thought, he did not say it out loud as he was worried that he would fall out with Ho Lianyu. Oh no. The two half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned lands were horrified after witnessing the death of a half-step ultimate god who could unleash an attack comparable to a half-step ultimate god. It was another half-step ultimate god who was stronger than them. Chapter 42-44. The Guardians of the Land of Sanctions had already seen the light of victory and were even more certain of their victory after the opponent's half-step ultimate god was killed. However, they did not expect two more half-step ultimate gods to appear after the first half-step ultimate god was killed. Moreover, both of them were extremely powerful half-step ultimate gods. One of them killed the two half-step ultimate gods in a blink of an eye while the other fought against two half-step ultimate gods on their side and was not at a disadvantage at all. The other four guardians were in a stalemate with the other four. The problem was, the purple-clothed young man was one of the strongest half-step ultimate gods among them. He was released after killing one of their men. The release of his combat power almost made them feel hopeless. Even the two half-step ultimate gods who were fighting the veiled woman had a bitter expression on their faces when they glanced at the purple-clad young man not far away from them while dealing with the veiled woman. Their plan had come to naught. Of course, it was not that they did not gain anything as they had at least killed one of their half-step ultimate gods. I'll imprison them while you attack. Duan Lingtian teleported to the veiled woman after killing the saber-wielding superior god-emperor of the Land of Sanctions and said to her calmly. Without waiting for her response, Duan Lingtian casually raised his right hand and a space storm raged in the void before crashing down and imprisoning the two half-step ultimate gods in the Land of Sanctions. The two half-step ultimate gods had just reacted when the space around them was imprisoned. They immediately used their divine weapons and combined their weapons with their divine weapons in an attempt to break the space imprisonment together. However, they realized that the space imprisonment only shook violently a few times and was not destroyed by them. Their expressions changed completely for a moment. Only then did they realize that there was still a gap between them and the purple-clad young man even if they worked together. The purple-clad young man's strength was definitely stronger than the veiled woman. As for the veiled woman, although her face was covered by a veil and her expression couldn't be seen clearly, a few ripples flashed through her beautiful eyes at this moment. At this moment, if one were to observe carefully, one would be able to see her delicate body tremble slightly. Clearly, his heart was not as calm as he appeared to be. However, she didn't let her mind wander for too long. In the blink of an eye, she came back to her senses and attacked again. Whoosh! Crash! The vast and stormy waves were like violent water dragons, sweeping towards the two people who were imprisoned. Under the circumstances that Duan Ling Tian didn't interfere, The two of them were unable to gain the slightest advantage from the hands of the veiled woman under the circumstances of 2 against 1. At this moment, they were imprisoned. They even had to use their power to resist the spatial storms that were constantly corroding them. They were far from being able to display their full strength. Therefore, after a few breaths of time, the two of them died in the hands of the veiled woman. The rewards of the 2 rules also fell from the sky at the right time, enveloping the veiled woman and fusing into her body. 2 half-step ultimate gods had fallen, and the 7-man team guarding the sanctioned land was utterly defeated. At this moment, the remaining 4 upper god emperors had completely lost their will to fight because of fear. The original stalemate had been broken, and they were being beaten by Ho Lianyu and the other 3. At this time, it was normal for the 4 higher god emperors from the sanctioned lands to not have the will to fight. What a joke. Now, the other side had released 2 half-step ultimate gods, and they were not ordinary half-step ultimate gods. Have you ever seen an ordinary half-step ultimate god who could fight against 2 other half-step ultimate gods at the same time? At this moment, Duan Lingtian and the Veiled Woman saw that Ho Lianyu and Zhang Yue were suppressing the other party, and they did not intervene. They just watched calmly. If they intervened, the rewards of killing the other party would belong to them. Now, it was obvious that Ho Lianyu and the others could handle it even if they did not intervene, so they tacitly did not intervene. Duan Lingtian watched the battle calmly, and the Veiled Woman beside him kept glancing at Duan Lingtian from the corner of her eyes. The surprise in her eyes did not diminish. She had been hiding her true strength and had not revealed it. This was something that she and Zhang Yue had discussed beforehand. In the secret territory, it was fine to give up the earlier items. The more important things were the later ones. Normally, the later the items, the better. Therefore, even when the additional reward, the Emperor's Supreme Pill, was mentioned earlier, and Xiao Ping said that he had found external help for her, she did not express any objections. That was because she did not care for it. I didn't expect. She had originally thought that she would be able to suppress everyone this time and obtain the best items from the secret realm with her little sister Yue. She had never thought that there would be such a person hiding in seclusion like her. Moreover, his strength was definitely not weaker than hers. She did not even have the confidence to fight with him. Just as the Veiled Woman was thinking, Ho Lianyu and Zhang Yue had finally defeated the last 4 people from the Land of Sanctions. Originally, they did not have much chance of winning because Ho Dong and Xiao Ping were injured. However, the 4 of them completely lost their will to fight when they saw that there were 2 half-step ultimate gods on their side. They could not even exert their full strength. In the end, they were killed by them. For rewards fell from the sky and landed on Ho Lianyu and the others. They then absorbed them. Elder Brother Duan, it's all thanks to you and this person. Otherwise, we would have lost this time. Ho Lianyu moved to Duan Lingtian's side in a flash and said with a smile as her eyes fell on the Veiled Woman not far away. At this time, Zhang Yue also returned to the Veiled Woman's side and looked at Duan Lingtian cautiously. She stared at Duan Lingtian for a moment before she looked at Ho Lianyu and said indifferently, Ho Lianyu, it seems like I've underestimated you. Initially, I thought you only found an ordinary senior divine emperor. I didn't expect you to find such a powerful half-step ultimate god. Ho Lianyu was not to be outdone. Zhang Yue, aren't you the same? The person beside you hid his strength well too. While the 2 of them were bickering, Ho Dong and Xiao Ping were standing at the same spot gloomily. Now, they finally knew why the 4 of them ignored them when they were about to leave the secret territory when they were about to leave. It turned out that they were confident in defeating the 7 people from the Land of Sanctions. The extra reward this time is definitely better than the Emperor Authority Elixir. At this time, Zhang Yue looked at Ho Lianyu and said bluntly, the reward this time is yours. The reward for the next challenge, which is also the last one, will be ours. What do you think? As they spoke, they had already decided to distribute the rewards for the last 2 challenges. When Ho Lianyu heard this, she said sarcastically, Zhang Yue, you've got a good plan. Who doesn't know that the further you go, the better the reward is? Why? You want to reserve the best reward first? Ho Lianyu was not stupid when it came to this. You can't say that. Zhang Yue shook her head. We don't know how difficult the next challenge will be. Maybe we can't pass it? If we can't pass it, There won't be any extra reward. As for you all, you've obtained additional rewards from this checkpoint. We might get better rewards, but it's still risky, isn't it? Zhang Yue said. The sarcastic look on Hou Lianyu's face became even more obvious when she heard Zhang Yue's words. I don't think we can't pass the next challenge. Why don't we give you the extra reward for this challenge and give us the extra reward for the next challenge? We're not afraid of taking risks. Hou Lianyu could not help but sneer at the end of her sentence. Did this Zhang Yue really take him for a fool? Ho Dong and Xiao Ping, who were standing far away, turned pale when the two of them were discussing who would get the extra reward for the last two challenges. They were completely out of the game. The most they could do was to get some rewards from the rules of martial arts, and they would be reduced to mere fodder. Ho Dong, Hou Lianyu from your Ho clan is not very capable. She has such a powerful half-step ultimate god by her side, but she just watched her helper get killed without any intention of helping. Xiao Ping was very upset at that moment, but he dared not vent his anger on Hou Lianyu or Zhang Yue. Therefore, he picked on Ho Dong, who was a soft persimmon. However, Ho Dong was also in a fit of anger. How could he not know what Xiao Ping was thinking? Xiao Ping, don't be so sarcastic. Ho Dong sneered. Hou Lianyu's half-step ultimate god did not help my helper. But did your junior sister's helper help you? My relationship with Hou Lianyu is just so-so. We even have some conflicts. It's fine if he doesn't help me. I've seen how well you treat your junior sister, but in the end, she stabbed you in the back. How pitiful. Ho Dong was no weaker than Xiao Ping when it came to talking. Xiao Ping was naturally enraged when he heard Ho Dong's words. He almost attacked Ho Dong but forced himself to calm down in the end. If he attacked Ho Dong now, the other four might be disgusted. There was no need for that. Ho Dong grinned when he saw Xiao Ping keeping quiet. It was as if the haze in his heart had been swept away. They're here. At the same time, Ho Dong narrowed his eyes. Even Xiao Ping subconsciously raised his head at that moment. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian and the others also saw the thing that floated down from the sky. It was a fruit that flickered with a faint light and emitted a refreshing fragrance that made one feel relaxed and happy. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian felt this fruit was similar to the heavenly Dao fruit he had obtained previously. However, it was a different kind of fruit. He racked his brains to recall the various heavenly and earthly treasures he had learned about before. It did not take long before he confirmed what this fruit was. The Heaven Ascension fruit. Chapter 42-45. Heaven Ascension Fruit. It was a divine fruit that was similar to the Heaven Path fruit. It could help a high-level God Emperor to break through to the ultimate God realm. It was an absolute treasure for a high-level God Emperor. A half-step ultimate God who was not talented enough would not be able to break through to the ultimate God realm on their own. However, for those who were extremely close to the ultimate God realm, once they consumed the Heaven Ascension fruit, they would be able to break through the shackles of their talent and break through to the ultimate God realm. It's the Heaven Ascension fruit. When Duan Lingtian recognized the divine fruit that fell from the sky, someone else also recognized the Heaven Ascension fruit. It was said to be a divine fruit that could help a high-level God Emperor reach the ultimate God realm in one step. Even Ho Dong and Xiao Ping's eyes were wide open. Their eyes were filled with greed. However, after a while, they glanced at the purple-robed young man and the veiled lady from the corner of their eyes. They sighed in disappointment. They stood no chance with the two of them around. It would be great if the two of them fought and perished together. Ho Dong's heart was filled with anticipation. Even though the hope was slim, it did not stop him from fantasizing about it. Zhang Yue's eyes were shining with the light of a wolf. However, the veiled woman did not act rashly after she glanced at Duan Ling Tian. Instead, she sent a voice transmission to Zhang Yue to inform her of the situation. Zhang Yue received the voice transmission from the veiled lady and looked at Hou Lianyu. She asked again, Hou Lianyu, are you sure you want to give us the Heaven Ascension fruit? If you're sure, you can't go back on your word. As Zhang Yue finished speaking, her eyes also flashed with waves of scorching light. Hou Lianyu frowned when he heard Zhang Yue's question. Originally, as far as he was concerned, Jiang Yue was obviously trying to take advantage of him and Big Brother Duan when she said that she wanted the extra reward for the final hurdle. Therefore, he casually said that he wanted the extra reward for the last checkpoint. The reward for this checkpoint could be given to Jiang Yue. Now, the reward for the last round was the Heaven Ascension Fruit. To a high god emperor, this was an extremely precious treasure. Even he did not dare to rashly make a decision for his elder brother Duan. Just as Ho Lianyu was in a dilemma, she suddenly heard a voice transmission by her ear. The moment she received the voice transmission, Ho Lianyu's pupils shrank sharply, and a look of shock appeared on her face, but she quickly concealed it. Then, he subconsciously glanced at Duan Lingtian before looking at Jiang Yue. Jiang Yue, we want the reward for the 9th challenge. Hearing his words, Jiang Yue's eyes lit up. The veiled woman's eyes also lit up. However, whether or not the reward for the final trial will belong to you, will require you to agree to our conditions. Ho Lianyu said again. The faint smile on Jiang Yue's face instantly froze when she heard Ho Lianyu's words. Then, her face filled with anger. Ho Lianyu, what do you mean by that? We'll give you the extra reward for the 9th challenge, but you're still talking about conditions with us about the reward for the final challenge? At this moment, it was not only Jiang Yue who was angry. Even the veiled woman's autumn eyes had a hint of coldness. At the same time, she glanced at Duan Lingtian again. This idea could not have been suggested by Ho Lianyu himself. At this moment, Duan Lingtian just happened to casually catch the Heaven Ascension Fruit that fell from the sky and directly put it into his spatial ring without any reservation. Although the Heaven Ascension Fruit was similar to the Heaven Dao Fruit, it would be a waste for him to use it. However, even if he could not use it, it did not mean that his family could not use it. This thing would not expire. Moreover, this kind of good thing could only be encountered and not sought. After putting away the Heaven Ascension Fruit, Duan Lingtian did not say anything. His gaze met the veiled woman's indifferent eyes for a moment before he withdrew his gaze. He did not feel guilty at all. At this moment, Ho Lianyu had already continued. Jiang Yue, why are you in such a hurry? It's not too late to listen to my conditions. Although the extra reward for the 9th challenge is the Heaven Ascension Fruit, which is very precious, the reward for the final challenge will definitely not be inferior to the Heaven Ascension Fruit. It might even be 2 or more Heaven Ascension Fruits. When she heard Ho Lianyu's words, Jiang Yue snorted coldly. Then tell us, what are your conditions? At this moment, even Ho Dong and Xiao Ping, who did not have any right to speak, looked at Ho Lianyu curiously. They were puzzled as to what conditions he had mentioned. Ho Lianyu said unhurriedly, it's not impossible for you to get the extra reward for the final challenge. However, you have to pass that challenge by yourselves. Elder Brother Duan and I will not make a move. As long as you pass the challenge, the extra reward for the final challenge will be yours. When Ho Lianyu said this, Jiang Yue's expression changed instantly. The cold light in the veiled woman's eyes became even more intense. What a joke. Let alone the final challenge, even if Ho Lianyu's reinforcements did not make a move, it would still be impossible for them to pass the 9th challenge even with Ho Lianyu's help. The final challenge would definitely be more difficult than the 9th challenge. How could the few of them pass it? Ho Lianyu. Jiang Yue was so angry that her face trembled slightly. Aren't you a little shameless to say this? Don't tell me we didn't make a move for the 9th challenge? You want to slack off for the 10th challenge? Jiang Yue was furious, and so was the veiled woman. At this moment, even Ho Dong and Xiao Ping felt that Ho Lianyu had gone overboard. However, they did not dare to speak recklessly. If they offended Ho Lianyu, they would definitely die if Ho Lianyu asked his reinforcements to make a move on them. Wait for me to finish. Ho Lianyu shook her head as she continued. If you guys feel that you're unable to pass the final hurdle, then Big Brother Duan will be the one to pass the final hurdle. If he can pass the final hurdle by himself, then the extra reward for the final hurdle will belong to him. If he can't pass the challenge, then he and I will work together with you to pass the final challenge. We promise to spare no effort. After we pass the challenge, the extra reward will belong to you. The conditions I'm negotiating with you are nothing more than giving Elder Brother Duan a chance to pass the challenge on his own. Jiang Yue and the other 3 were shocked when they heard Ho Lianyu's words. They all looked at Duan Lingtian. This person wants to pass the final challenge on his own? Is he that confident in his own strength? Even the veiled woman's beautiful eyes were filled with heartfelt shock at this moment. After a while, she said to Jiang Yue through voice transmission, judging from the difficulty of the 10th challenge, unless he has the strength of a lower ultimate god, it's impossible for him to pass the final challenge on his own. If he has the strength of a lower ultimate god, to put it bluntly, we won't be able to compete with him even if he tries to snatch the extra reward for the final challenge. So, agree to their conditions. We don't have any other choice. We'll bet on his blind confidence that he won't be able to pass the final challenge. Jiang Yue felt that the veiled woman's words made sense. She looked at Ho Lianyu and said, I agree to your conditions. I hope you'll keep your promise. Ho Lianyu smiled faintly when Jiang Yue agreed. You can rest assured that we'll keep our promise. At this time, even he was still shocked in his heart. When his elder brother Duan asked him to raise the condition, he knew that his elder brother Duan was confident that he could pass the final challenge on his own. He did not know why he had such blind confidence in his elder brother Duan, even though he had not known him for long. Qiu Ping, do you think he's really capable? Ho Dong was completely scared out of his wits. After a moment, he swallowed a mouthful of saliva and asked Qiu Ping with some difficulty through voice transmission. I don't know. Qiu Ping looked at Ho Dong angrily. Did this guy forget that he just offended me? Now, he's chatting with me as though nothing happened. Is he being careless, or does he think that I, Qiu Ping, have no temper? The 10th checkpoint was also the last checkpoint of this natural secret realm. In the end, no one from the sanctioned lands appeared at this checkpoint. Instead, a total of 10 great demons appeared. These great demons were not very large in size, but they gave off an extremely frightening, baleful aura. These 10 great demons were all humanoid great demons. The smallest one was about 3 meters tall, while the largest one was about 5 to 6 meters tall. Instead of saying that they looked like humans, they looked more like apes and monkeys. At this moment, each of the 10 great demons was holding a long rod in their hands. Each of the long rods was more than 10 meters long and exuded a thick and majestic aura. One could even vaguely see a faint soul moving on the long rods. However, it was not solid and was faintly discernible. They're all half-soul high-grade divine artifacts. Ho Lianyu exclaimed, Let's test their strength. At this moment, Jiang Yue spoke. As she stepped into the air, she glanced at Ho Dong and Qiu Ping. When the two saw her gaze, although they were unwilling, they still followed her into the air. The veiled lady also moved at the right time. Unlike before, when she followed behind Jiang Yue, she took the lead this time. She went past Jiang Yue, Ho Dong, and Qiu Ping to meet the 10 great demons in the sky. Woo woo, roar. When the 10 grand demons saw someone rushing towards them, they also roared loudly. Then, they swung the upper-grade half-soul swindler in their hands. When they moved, they smashed the half-soul swindler fiercely at the veiled woman. Bang, bang, bang. The 10 great demons smashed the veiled lady's attack. Among them, 5 of the 10 strikes not only broke the veiled lady's attack, but also sent her flying. The other 5 strikes were weaker and slower. After the veiled lady was sent flying, they all missed their target. However, just this one move was enough to let others see their strength. 5 half-step ultimate gods. 5 great demons who were close to the half-step ultimate gods. Most importantly, they were different from the previous great demons who did not have any divine artifacts. They all had half-soul high-grade divine artifacts. Chapter 42-46. The veiled woman was the strongest amongst Jiang Yue's group of 4 that had made a move now. However, even she was repelled by a single blow. Furthermore, it was obvious that he was injured. When Jiang Yue, Ho Dong, and Qiu Ping saw that the veiled woman had been defeated, not only did they stop in their tracks, they even hurriedly retreated. What a joke! Even a powerful half-step ultimate god like the veiled lady was forced to retreat, let alone them. The 10th obstacle is indeed more difficult than the previous one. Ho Dong could not help but sigh after retreating. However, he was not nervous as there was still a powerful half-step ultimate god on their side who had yet to make a move. Junior sister, Even Xiao Ping looked at Jiang Yue helplessly as he retreated. The four of us are no match for them. Let's let Duan Lingtian try, and see if he can kill these grand demons on his own. Xiao Ping transmitted his voice to Jiang Yue. Jiang Yue did not respond to Xiao Ping immediately, nor did she greet Duan Lingtian or Holian Yu. Instead, she looked at the veiled lady. At that moment, the veiled lady was injured after being sent flying. However, she was full of energy again after taking a healing elixir. Obviously, her injuries were not too serious. The veiled lady did not choose to give up and immediately attacked again. The bloodline power around her vibrated and spread in all directions, causing the void to tremble. Even Duan Lingtian could not help but frown slightly at that moment. Previously, the veiled lady had also used her bloodline power, but it was not this kind of bloodline power. The bloodline power she used before was weaker. However, the bloodline power she used now was obviously of a different level. At that moment, the two bloodline powers were superimposed on her body at the same time without any signs of conflict between them. They were very harmonious. Moreover, the two bloodline powers were unleashed at the same time and raised the veiled lady's strength by a whole level. She's still hiding something? Duan Lingtian was a little surprised as he did not expect his opponent to be so secretive. He did not even use his full strength when facing the two half-step ultimate gods from the sanctioned land. If she had used her bloodline power earlier, the two half-step ultimate gods would not have been her match even if they worked together. In fact, he might not even be able to last 10 moves against her. Her strength is infinitely close to an ordinary lower ultimate god. If she can master the embryonic form of any of the four Tao of heaven and earth, I'm afraid she can compete with the weakest lower ultimate gods. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly. With such strength, if I choose to defeat them one by one, I might be able to kill all 10 of them. Duan Lingtian's gaze landed on the 10 giant apes again. He was also somewhat perplexed. Logically speaking, the test of the 10th checkpoint shouldn't be so simple. In his opinion, excluding the two half-step ultimate gods, the rest of the 10 giant apes might not be as strong as the 7 guardians from the sanctioned land in the 9th checkpoint. 4 half-step ultimate god giant apes and 5 half-step ultimate god giant apes were likely to defeat the guardian of the 9th level. However, it was only slightly more powerful, and the difference was not huge. Even with the addition of a half-step ultimate god ape, it was not much stronger. In fact, Duan Lingtian was not the only one who felt the test was too simple. Even the veiled lady felt the same way. Because of this, when she activated another bloodline power and attacked the 10 giant apes, there was a faint joy in the depths of her eyes. That was because she was confident that she could kill all 10 of them one by one, while taking them down one by one. Her strength was infinitely close to a lower ultimate god, not in terms of cultivation base, but in terms of strength. According to her mother, she only needed a small improvement in her strength to be comparable to the weakest lower ultimate god. I thought the last checkpoint would require the strength of a lower ultimate god to pass. I didn't expect it to be so simple. I alone am enough to pass this checkpoint. The veiled lady attacked again. Her momentum was even stronger than before. At this moment, even Holian Yu, Ho Dong, and Xiao Ping could tell something was amiss. She's still hiding her strength? Another kind of bloodline power? She has 2 bloodlines? Born with 2 bloodlines? There aren't many people like that. I've only heard of them but never seen one. I didn't expect to see one today. The natives of the Plains of Gods were all born with bloodline power as long as they were not innately weak or came from a lowly background. Among those who had bloodline power, there was a very small group of people who had 2 bloodlines at the same time. They inherited one from their father and one from their mother. Among these people, there were some who could not use both bloodline power at the same time. However, there were some who could use both bloodline power at the same time without any conflict. They could be even more powerful in actual combat. The veiled lady was obviously one of these people. She's so strong, Ho Dong exclaimed. It was the veiled woman. She chased after one of the half-step ultimate god giant apes and knocked the giant ape's staff away. She even almost killed the giant ape. The giant ape's hands were broken and dripping with blood. It was only thanks to the help of the other 4 half-step ultimate god giant apes that it was able to escape in time. Roar. The injured huge ape suddenly let out a sharp cry. Its voice shook the sky, and in an instant, it caused the originally bright sky to darken. Then, under the gaze of Duan Lingtian and the others, a giant ape's silhouette appeared in the void. It looked like the apparition of a ultimate god, but it was not an apparition of a ultimate god. After the giant ape's silhouette appeared, it walked across the void. As for the 10 giant apes, although they were glaring fiercely at the veiled woman, they all gave up on her and soared into the air, flying toward the giant ape silhouette. Although the veiled lady did not know what was going to happen next and the giant ape's silhouette did not show any signs of life, she had an ominous feeling in her heart. Because of that, she did not hesitate and immediately moved out to stop one of the half-step ultimate god giant apes. However, at this moment, the giant ape-like figure that had fallen from the sky, which had no signs of life, stiffly beat its chest with its hands, and at the same time, let out a low, mechanical roar from its mouth. The roar was not loud, but a golden light gushed out from its mouth at a frightening speed. In the blink of an eye, the golden light enveloped the 10 giant apes that were rushing towards it. After being shrouded by the golden light, the 10 giant apes instantly turned into 10 different colored lights and were carried by the golden light into the giant ape's body through its mouth. In the next instant, the originally illusory figure of the giant ape actually began to solidify. In the end, it even turned into a real ape. The giant ape's silhouette was very large, but the ape that was solidified was not that big. It was even shorter than most humans, only about 1.6 meters tall. In its hand, it was holding a 2-meter-long staff. On the staff, there was a solid soul that was about to come out, a full soul high-grade divine weapon. Ho Dong exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, it was not only Ho Dong, but even Duan Ling Tian and the others could see that the staff in the ape's hand was a genuine complete soul prominent grade divine weapon. Although the ape's body was small, its entire body was extremely well equipped and gave off a more terrifying feeling than the previous 10 giant apes. Human, how dare you hurt my doppelganger? You must die. The ape's eyes seemed to be flashing with a bloody light as it stared at the veiled woman. At the same time, its divine power rose from its body. When its divine power appeared, the veiled woman's delicate body suddenly trembled. Zhang Yue, who was not far away, could not help but exclaim in shock, "An ultimate god great demon." That was right. At this moment, the divine power that rose from the average-sized ape's body was the divine power of a lower ultimate god. The divine power broke out of its body and turned into a soaring flame in the blink of an eye. It was obvious that this Yuan Lei great demon was proficient in the law of fire. Moreover, as soon as its law of fire appeared, the veiled woman showed a look of fear because it was extremely close to the law of fire's power of 100,000 miles. If it went one step further, it would show signs of 100,000 miles of weak light. In terms of the law of fire, it was already stronger than her. Of course, her dual bloodline powers and law of fire were not necessarily inferior to the other party's law of fire. However, the problem was, she had a full soul high-grade divine weapon, but so did the other party. Her divine power was inferior to the other party's. Even if she could see that the other party's divine power was unstable, it was still the divine power of a lower ultimate god, even if it had not completely consolidated its cultivation base as a lower ultimate god. I'm no match for it. The veiled woman's figure moved and quickly retreated. At the same time, she looked at Duan Lingtian from afar and said in a slightly cold voice, "If you're confident, you can fight on your own. If not, save your strength and join forces with me. If we can split the rewards later, I'm willing to share half of it with you." It was not that the veiled woman was very generous. She added the last sentence because she was worried that Duan Lingtian would overestimate himself and rush forward when he was no match for the great demon in front of him. If Duan Lingtian was seriously injured, she would not be able to do anything to the great demon even if she attacked again. Once that happened, no one would be able to get the rewards of the last checkpoint. That was something she did not want to see. She believed that the other party did not want to see that happen either. Unless he's really confident, otherwise, he won't choose to fight alone. If I can really kill this great demon alone, I'll accept it if I can't get the final reward. That was the veiled woman's current state of mind. Her eyes never left Duan Lingtian as she was worried about what choice he would make next. However, when she asked Duan Lingtian to make a choice, the great demon in front of her did not intend to cooperate with her. After letting out an angry roar, it turned into a ball of flames and rushed toward her. The flames burned the sky and a terrifying heat spread out, causing Holy Inu and the other upper-level god emperors who had not reached the half-step ultimate god realm to retreat. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.